The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Yes, speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon, beautiful people. It is Wednesday, December 16th, 2020, and we got a hell of a show on deck for you, right? Now, joining us today will be Jonathan Taylor, running back for the Indianapolis Colts, formerly of Wisconsin, who has been running wild all over the NFL the last couple of weeks, really finding his stride, and a big weapon for the Indianapolis Colts this past weekend against the Raiders. He went off. He had, I forget how many, but he had a lot. He had touchdowns. He had a lot of yards. He's getting loose. The Colts defense is great. You got Nyheim Hines also in the backfield. Phillip Rivers is starting to figure it out. T.Y. Hilton's waking up. I mean, that team is primed for a run in the AFC, but in the AFC's Kansas City Chiefs. Speaking of, we'll talk to Dane Orlovsky from ESPN today in the third hour about what his thoughts are on everything popping off in the NFL right now, who's great, who stinks, and what he's got going on in his life as host of NFL Live every single day on ESPN. Also joining us in the second hour, about an hour from now, Shams Charania from the Athletic Stadium. The NBA is happening, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. And you can also tell which one Zito likes more by the photos that were used here.
What do you mean?
No, he doesn't.
Dane Orlovsky and that's not how that's in tribute. By the way, that's a good shirt. By the way,
I love that shirt. I have it.
But you put the coolest photo I've ever seen of Shams Charania.
That's a good photo.
And by the way, you have Shams in front of Jonathan Taylor, by the way, like with the shadow. It's because Zito and Shams were like texting French.
Yeah.
That's how we got Shams on the
We
show.
got to look at it this way, too. It's the V formation right there.
Yeah, he's
leading the V there.
Yeah, the flying V. Zito's with his guy, Shams Charania, who looks unbelievable.
If Jonathan Taylor was at 105, he would have been letting the V.
Yeah, letting the V. That's what it's all about, is letting the V. Sometimes you got to lead by example. And I think that is something that we say we do.
I'm a big lead guy. You know that.
Yeah, but love the lead. But Shams will be on talking about basketball. James Harden showed up, and he looks awesome. I thought there was actually a Photoshop picture of him floating around the internet last night. James Harden, obviously, everybody knows, once out of Houston, still once out of Houston, even though they have John Wall on the squad. And he showed up last night looking awesome. It was his first minutes in preseason game. He and John Wall were on the court for the first time together. Everybody behind the scenes is saying that James Harden has been making the decisions since like 2012, but James Harden's pissed off about the decisions that are being made. He wants out. They offered him like $200 million or something like that. He said no to it, and then he showed up looking like that. That's awesome. Good idea. Maybe he'll get cut, I guess this is. I don't know who's going to be like, hey, let's trade for this unless we can get him in shape, I guess, in 2 months and then get him back, which is probably what you're thinking. Connor, at Boston Connor, big-time NBA fan. He said it doesn't matter how fat you are or what your weight is. All you got to do is step back three. If it falls, it falls.
Exactly. That's what James does. And I don't know this narrative that he stinks or anything like that. I think a lot of teams want him, but the Rockets are asking for way too much.
No, yeah. I'm not talking about him stink. I'm talking about him looking like that.
Yeah. Oh, being that thick.
Yeah. Because listen, as somebody who has come back at different weights on a very regular basis, I was a punter, so I could do that. Like if the quarterback was showing up,
right,
like this, and then disappearing, and then like this, they probably question things and drive and motivation and things that are going on off the court. But also, this could be James Harden saying, I'm not getting a haircut till I get the fuck out of here. And the haircut can really change the way everything looks like that. The NBA is happening, though. Nobody really cares, but it'll be a conversation piece. It happens to be a Wednesday, so there's not really much to talk about, but we do want to talk to you. 1-888-623-3646. Give us a call. Cannot wait to chat with you. We also have questions from other sports shows. At Tone Diggs, there's some GM talk happening. There's some quarterbacks that are allegedly done after this season. There's a lot of chitter-chatter happening about offseason moves right now in the NFL because we're at the end of the NFL season. Louis Riddick's name is up for basically every GM role that is currently open. You go on Monday Night Football, you do a good job on there, people say. You put over some secondaries, your booth, and then you just go and become a GM. Is that kind of the role of this whole thing? Or why is Louis Riddick's name so hot, you think?
Yeah, it seems like, because I believe I saw where he was last in the NFL in 2013, and then he's been on TV ever since. And I think that's the role that you take, like Mayock did it, where you go on TV and you talk about what teams should do and the players they should take, but no one holds you accountable because you're on TV. So it's not actually that no one keeps track of your results. So you sound smart all the time, and then you get interviewed for a GM job because ownerships are stupid, and they just see that you're in front of a TV and they think, hey, these people wouldn't hire a stupid guy to do that. So.
By the way, the TV people would hire stupid people to talk. They do it all the time. But the Louis Riddick narrative is interesting because I think he was up for one last year, too. Like there was a couple conversations about it. You get on Monday Night Football, up the profile a little bit. Now your name's out there. Mike Mayock and the Raiders, by the way, have done a good job. They also hired a TV guy, John Gruden. They said, hey, we're going to go straight to the TV. We're going to NFL Network, okay, because that's associated with the league. He'll be picking the roster. And then we'll go Monday Night Football, John Gruden, and we'll bury that franchise. We'll get John Gruden out of that booth, and we will just fucking bury Monday Night Football without John Gruden. Get Tirico out of there, too. Chris Mortensen reporting this morning. Shout out to Mort, by the way, at ESPN Monday Night Football analyst. Louis Riddick is interviewing today for the Houston Texans general manager job. Sources tell Adam Schefter and me. Rick will then interview with the Lions on Friday. Ooh. So there's like an old adage in the coaching world. I would assume it's the same in the GM world. If you're an owner and you like somebody, you don't let them out of the building. Like, if you want to hire somebody, you don't let them out of the building. Because if they go somewhere else, even though you guys had great chemistry and they like it and everything like that, if he goes to the Lions, maybe maybe he'll love that situation. You know what I mean? Maybe he'll love that situation more. So I think we'll learn a lot on whether or not how that conversation went today. Now, granted, the Texans are going to do their due diligence. I would assume they'll talk to other people. But if they fall in love with them today, I don't think they'll let them leave the building and just kind of get that gig done with and over with. Ooh. Who are the Lions going to hire? Chad Brown is reported. Who the fuck is Chad Brown? At Evan Fox. He used to be a Detroit Lions fan. Who's Chad Brown?
I've never heard of a Chad Brown, Pat.
Okay, can you please put the tweet up so people know what we're talking about? It was said this morning by Chad Brown on Detroit Sport Radio. Chad Brown said on 104.3 The Fan that he's hearing that the Lions are going to move on from QB Matthew Stafford. And that comes from Kevin Kistner at Kistner Radio. We do not know who Kevin Kistner is. We do not know who Chad Brown is. We do not know what 104.3 The Fan is. But we know whenever you put those three together in Detroit, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I think Matthew Stafford, we all have understood, is on his way out. Yep. But who's making that decision? You know, because they're going to have who's making that decision?
That's what I was going to ask.
So is Chad Brown a offspring of the Ford family? Ooh. Is he talking to the Ford? At Nick Marolda has a hand up. I got something to say about Chad Brown, I think.
Did a little research. It is actually former NFL linebacker Chad Brown, former Steeler and Patriot, and it's 104.3 The Fan in Denver.
Hey now.
Is he associated with the Ford family? I mean, how good for him, by the way. I heard Chris Spielman, a man who bashed punters the other day, has now got a job in Detroit. They have a great punter there. I hope Jack Fox smacks him in the mouth. Yep. But it is get a good football guy in there, I think, is what they're thinking this whole thing. It'll be interesting to see how all these jobs are filled, especially with us learning that they hire independent businesses to do evaluations for them, and they just kind of take other people's words that for their own. I mean, you could see why teams fuck it up all the time, but I'm excited to see who does. You know what I mean? Yep. What hire in a year from now or 2 years from now, GM, did everybody think, yeah, that was a terrible hire? We're right back in the same situation, maybe even worse. And what hire is like, yeah, it's a good hire? Like if Louis Riddick is what if he's an incredible GM? And I'm not saying that he can't be, and I'm not saying it'd be a surprise, but Mike Mayock did a pretty good job, I think, over there. Now, him and the Antonio Brown situation, which, by the way, makes it even better that he had to handle that. Also, Khalil Mack, Amari Cooper. Yep. They made a lot of moves. Now, their team is kind of teetering out here at the end of the season, just like they did last year, so they're going to have to figure that the fuck out. Knock on wood if you're with me. But, I mean, the TV guys been getting jobs, not too bad. You know what I think? I think my name should be up for NFL head coach.
Yeah!
Let's do it. Why not?
Why not? TV, right? I mean, that's what Gruden for years. He would leak his name out for a head coaching role. He'd get some interest. Then he'd go to ESPN and say, hey, listen, this is what they're going to pay me a head coach. And ESPN's like, well, we've seen the future, and we need you on Monday Night Football. So we'll go ahead and re-sign you to another deal worth $5 million more a year. Congrats to you. And then the next year comes out, John Gruden's name is up for the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. And Gruden's like, hey, I'll tell you what, man, I don't want to do it. But they're offering real money out there. I will. And ESPN re-signs John Gruden to an extension for $2 million more a year. That was beautifully played. Beautifully played. Is Louis Riddick going to start doing that with Monday Night Football? I hope so. That'd be hilarious. But it's a wild time in the NFL, dude. 8 jobs probably going to be open. Head coaching jobs. 8 That's a lot. That's 25% of the goddamn league
Yeah.
is going to be wide open with turnover. That means 25% of the league is going to try to rebuild. 25% of the league is going to move on. And there's one particular place that doesn't have a coach being fired or GM being fired, but it's going to be a new day down there. Drew Brees allegedly done after this year.
Yeah.
All reports coming out, Drew Brees is done after this year. At Ty Schmidt, noted Drew Brees fan. This has to be something that's a bit disheartening at this point.
Oh, I'm glad. Get him out of there.
Oh,
I'm done with.
you don't like Drew Brees?
Nah, I can't stand him. I'm done with Drew Brees.
Why?
Well, and this might just be me. I'm sure there are a lot of people in New Orleans that love him. He kind of just seems like a pompous asshole all the time.
Jeez.
All the time.
Good God.
Drew Brees?
Yeah, and then the will they, won't they. I mean, dude, you're 41. You broke like 18 ribs and collapsed a lung. Like, just fucking give it up, dude. Walk off into the sunset. You guys aren't winning the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, you don't think so?
Move on to, Sunday Night Football and then cancel yourself right out of that booth. Like, just get that process started. I'm done with Drew Brees.
I would like to let everybody know that the opinions of Ty do not reflect that of his employer or his peers, but I do believe it reflects a large part of the internet potentially.
Yeah.
It has to be something that is talked about. Drew Brees is going to have every single record whenever he's done, basically. Now, Tom Brady will probably beat him with touchdowns because they're currently battling, and I don't think Tom's done after this year because avocado ice cream and everything.
Of course.
Right.
But if Drew Brees is done after this year, he's going to be a Hall of Famer, certain Hall of Famer. Okay, Super Bowl champion. They're already putting him in the goddamn Notre Dame games, and then he's going right into that thing. How will that go? Probably bad, okay, if we had to guess. But that does not take away from Drew Brees' incredible career. You got to remember, guy was kicked out of San Diego.
Oh, yeah, great football player.
Kicked out of great football player, undersized guy from Purdue, did well. But if they move on, which everybody's saying they're going to, and you believe they're not going to win the Super Bowl, it's going to be tough, especially if they're losing to Jalen Hurts and the boys up there in Philadelphia. But that could have been a wake-up game. If they move on, Sean Payton's come out and said that he told Jameis, like, hey, you're going to have a shot to win this job. And then he told Taysom Hill's also going to have a shot. Is that just going to be an open competition? You're going to have to sign both of them, I think, right?
Yeah.
Jameis is up and Taysom's up. So, I think Taysom's up. I think.
I thought
I think
the
go one
2-year
more.
extension.
So if he has one, so then what is Jameis signing for? Because that'll tell us immediately who is going to be the starter going into camp. That's going to be an interesting situation. And what if Sean Payton says, you know what? Fuck them both. How many games has Taysom Hill played now? 4? 3. One game he looked good. It was 2 weeks ago.
He's played 4, so he had the Broncos game when they didn't have a quarterback.
And
Atlanta
he
twice.
threw, hold on. He threw for like 27 yards that game.
Yeah.
Or something. He ran for 2 touchdowns, though. They still won, but he was like holding on to the ball. Who did he play next?
Atlanta twice, and then they lost to the Eagles this past weekend.
Okay, so I guess it was against Atlanta, though, whenever he was slinging the rock or whatever,
his
right?
first touchdown.
Yeah,
His first
whatever.
touchdown
Yeah, but when he was playing quarterback good. He was like playing quarterback
His
good
third
2 weeks
start.
ago. Yeah, his third start. He was playing quarterback good. At the top of his drop back, he was letting it loose. Michael Thomas was covered, but he was throwing the ball. He was making decisions like an NFL quarterback. Okay, that was, and you could tell that was. Then this past week, it seems like he regressed again. It seemed like, and that's an interesting thing. I would assume that is a difficult jump just to make. The thing about it is, we don't know Jameis, right? He played one half with Sean Payton. It wasn't great. It was not great at all, but they still won the game. We don't know what Jameis and Sean Payton are, and I don't know if we ever will if they don't re-sign him to a deal, because I would assume Jameis Winston's services are potentially going to be needed elsewhere. He's probably going to get more than what he made league min right now this year,
or whatever.
$1 million. There's a lot of bad quarterback play. Jameis Winston got LASIK. I mean, you know what I mean? He said he went to the Harvard of quarterbacking, which is down there in the Saints stuff. I think might be a little bit of a competition to get Jameis, more so this year than there was last year after he threw 75 interceptions.
Taysom Hill's cap hit next year is $16 million for the Saints.
Yeah, so I'd assume he's probably going to be the starting quarterback. next year.
Especially with them in the negative, right? They're negative 95 mil in the cap next year. How can they even sign to?
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to move that, by the way.
Yeah.
Because if the salary cap stays flat, they're going to have to cut people, but they're still dead money. So they're going to have to get people to renegotiate somehow. But if you're any of these players that are potentially cap casualties next year, Matt Ryan or anybody on the Saints
Wentz.
or anybody, well, I don't think he's going to be a cap casualty.
Because they still have to pay.
Yeah, but I'm saying like a person, there's no way you can renegotiate your contract. Matt Ryan's owed like $100 million. It will be impossible to trade him. If I'm Matt Ryan, there's zero chance you get me to renegotiate that.
That was you guys'
Hey,
decision.
Fuck you.
Sorry.
$100 million? Yeah, okay. So maybe I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. And that's when I walk to the bank and see the amount of money that you guys are paying. Okay, I don't know how. There's going to be a lot of moves that are going to have to be made. I'll be intrigued to see how it all plays out. But Drew Brees being basically done after this year is something we all thought, but now it's kind of being reported about. Hell of a run by Drew.
Yeah.
All right.
Good riddance, Drew.
You did, Drew.
Good riddance, is that what you said?
Yeah, good riddance. Get the fuck out of here.
Whoa,
come on.
jeez. Why do you hate him so bad? You said he's pompous?
Yeah, he's a pompous asshole.
To you or to in general?
Well, you look at like his interviews, his mannerisms, stuff like that. But yes, he was just a prick to me, actually.
Yeah, but you right in the back.
Yeah. I mean, I still have like a herniated disc up here from when he fucking put his elbow right into my back at Radio Row and, dissed me. So
are you thinking that you're trying to get NBC money? Is that why you haven't sued yet? You're waiting for him to get to NBC?
Exactly.
To see how that herniated disc T1, T2 potentially is? Ooh.
Right, and wait for him to say something stupid that pisses people off, and then boom, you slide right in. Then it's like
you had your shot.
Yeah, I did.
You had your shot.
I was too busy dancing on his grave like Juju.
What was Chop him. What was that? 28 hours, 32 hours where Drew Brees was potentially never playing football again this past offseason.
Other teams were circling him on their calendar.
His own team.
Yeah.
His own team was circling. It was like 32 hours, and then everything, changed immediately on his social media very quickly. I assume he probably got a crisis management team.
Yeah,
Let's go ahead and figure this out.
Smoothie King
LeBron quote tweeted it.
Yeah. When Bron gets in there, you're in problems, dude.
Look out.
You are in trouble. Rest in peace to Drew Brees' career.
Yeah. Good career. Great quarterback.
Yeah, and all those records, too, they'll be broken.
At Tone Diggs tomorrow night. I don't know if they will be broken immediately, but in due time. Patrick Mahomes is just go ahead and
15 years.
How you doing? Here I come. Drew Brees is just staring at. Drew Brees needs to pimp all his records whenever he retires. By the way,
Well, he does. Every time.
Yeah, with his shoes and everything like that. But I'm saying he needs to pimp those as hard as possible because it is not going to be for too much longer before Patrick Mahomes starts climbing that thing.
Put some banners in the Superdome rafters
Something to
of
think
everything
about.
he's got.
Yeah, just enjoy the shit out of it because it's not his fault. By the way, at one point, Troy Aikman probably had a pretty good passing career with the way the NFL was. You know what I mean? And he was passing like 16 times a game, 15 times a game, 17 times a game or whatever, like standard. Now you got guys throwing it 30, 40 times a game. All of those records are going to be changed. You know what I mean? All those records are going to be changed. Then there's just as the rule. That's why there's so many asterisk that you need to put on all the records because as the game changes, like tight end records, I mean those are all going to change.
Yeah.
Slot receiver records, those are all going to change. You're talking about everything. And defenses can't be held at the same standard as they were before. There's just so much. There's so many, qualifiers into every single conversation. But Drew Brees' records, to your point, Connor, they're probably going to disappear pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would assume they're going to disappear pretty quick. At Viva Lazito, what's the poll for the day, pal?
What in the Hunt team would be the scariest to play in the NFL playoffs?
And you put the air per quotations around
Just in case,
the Indy Hunt.
in the Hunt, yeah.
Yeah, because you didn't title that. That's just how they are titled.
Exactly, yes.
Got it, okay. And which 4 teams are they?
Right now, last, surprising, is Bears, 8.9. Raiders, I actually spelled it wrong. I apologize. I put the I in the wrong spot. 10.8%. Vikings, 16.8%. And Ravens, 63.6%.
What have you done for me lately? This Ravens team, if they play like they played on Monday night, problematic for everybody.
Oh, yeah. Poop game.
If they play potential poop game, alleged poop game, a lot of cramp game. If they played like the Ravens played for, I don't know, the 6 weeks before that, not very problematic. Now, granted, that Ravens team has not been able to be around each other much. There hasn't been much practicing. Harbaugh, you got to remember, he almost fought an entire team at one point. Yeah. There was leaks coming out of there that the players were potentially not happy. It was a much different vibe this year than it was last year for the Ravens. But if the Ravens are going to play like they played on Monday night, they are a problem. If Lamar's going to be dancing and pooping on you, that is going to be a problem. And I'm not saying he did that whenever he went in there. I'm just saying whenever he gets going, he's pooping and shitting all over you. Yeah. That's potentially problematic. All right, we got to get to a break. 12:21 here. We got Jonathan Taylor on the other side. Yeah. The Spotify's not working.
Probably got hacked.
It's literally just not working. I mean, it's just frozen up.
Don't leave me lonely.
All right, this is the Pat McAfee Show. Wednesday, December 16th. On the other side, we got Jonathan Taylor joining us. You're listening to Don't Leave Me Lonely Late Night Special Band. We're back on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show.
couple people, one college kid, took a shot at my swag.
We know. We don't like that
I
kid.
don't think a lot of people understand what swag is. Some of this younger generation thinks, swag is just like the clothes I wear or whatever. No. The swag is a mentality.
Yeah.
Swag is a mindset. I tried to tell this to some of the guys in the locker room this week. I said, swagger, which is what swag comes from. Swagger is a mindset. Swagger isn't that you have a Supreme backpack on. Or that you have your shoes, unlaced walking around with, you got your new Louis fanny pack that you make sure it's not worn at your waist, it's worn over your shoulder. That's not swag. That's not swagger. That's fashion choices. True swag is owning your inner essence. It's a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And my essence on the field is that I feel like I'm a throwback player and I'm a tough guy. What I've played through, how I wear my stuff, I'm kind of a no-nonsense, straightforward. To me, that's what swag is all about.
You're damn
all
right.
this like fake swag out there. I got my special towel. I got this. I got that. I got this writing out there. A lot of you guys are just posing.
All right.
Patriots, -11. Hammer that thing as hard as you possibly can. I am a guy that moves lines with this bad boy. Me and this guy here, this hammer, we've been making money together for a long time. Super, baby. You whip out your hammer and you swing it not only like a windmill dunk, like a son of a bitch, but you swing that thing to try to break the button on the FanDuel thing, and you hammer the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It finally made its debut on ESPN, and I'm proud of this fucking office store hammer.
Hell yeah.
I like them all over Baylor. Going hammer OT State #1. Hammer the Red Wolves +5.5, -14.5, and hammer -34.5 for. Oh!
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
Hey, it's time to spoil the shit out of your dogs with BarkBox. 2 toys, 2 treats, and a chew. It starts as low as $22 a month for $60 worth of dog chews and toys.
Whoa!
Yeah, it's crazy. It's the best day of the month for our dogs is when their BarkBoxes arrive. The dogs can smell them because they got them big sniffers. And whenever that BarkBox is sitting outside and they know it's about to come in the house, they have a little bit more pep in their step. Their tails are wagging a little bit faster. The ears are perked up a little bit higher because they know that amazing is coming to them in the form of BarkBox. Join now and get a free extra toy in every single box this year. That's $60 worth of toys for free. Wow. Sign up your pup and get a unique toys and snacks plus a free extra toy every single month. Tailored toys and treats shipped every month for free. Start now and get $60 in free toys. The shipping's free. Not
Not the box.
Not the whole thing. Just want to clarify that. Unique Toys, USA made treats, free monthly delivery, and $60 in free extra toys when you go to barkbox.com/Pat. Barkbox, BARKBOX.com/PAT. Shout out to Barkbox, by the way.
The best.
They make me look like a hero. Me and my wife look like a hero to our dogs every single month without us even thinking. Speaking of hero, ladies and gentlemen, in the last 3 games, this dude has 414 total yards from scrimmage. Yeah, he's a rookie, and he's very good at the football. Ladies and gentlemen, running back for the Indianapolis Colts out of Wisconsin. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Taylor. What's up, dude? You're muted. This is Conti's fault. This is not your fault. This is Colts PR, Matt Conti's fault. He's got you muted over there. He doesn't want the world to hear you, Jonathan Taylor. And Matt Conti and I have had a lot of conversations, okay? He's a good guy. Good guy.
Good guy.
But right now, he's trying to bury Jonathan
He tried to
Taylor.
mute you, too.
He tried to mute. He did a couple times. Now, granted, it wasn't him. He was being tasked with an impossible mission of coming and speak to me about things that some people maybe didn't like that I tweeted or whatever. So Conti and I got to learn a lot about each other very quickly, you know, and he would always go like, hey, listen, I thought it was hilarious, but there is a conversation happening, blah, blah, blah. Will you delete it? No, Conti, I won't. Tell them. Well, so Conti has to go back, and then he has to tell them, then Conti has to come back. So Conti does not have an easy job, but right now, he's just muting Jonathan Taylor.
Conti.
I mean, figure it out.
What the hell,
my
dude?
God, Matt Conti, this guy.
This organization.
Matt Conti. Matt Conti's actually like very good at his job, by the way.
Very nice guy.
Well, not
Very
today.
nice guy.
Not today.
Well, yeah, we like him. That's why we do this.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't want people, you know, that don't know Matt Conti to be like, oh, the Colts PR guy. He's the worst. Yeah. He's actually probably the best in the league. Let's get to some phone calls before we get to Jonathan Taylor. He looked good, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Great.
For those that are only listening, he does look good.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
got out of a workout.
It looks like he just got done. Yeah. He has been running people over, by the way.
Yeah.
Earlier in the season, and I'll save it for when I get to talk to him. Let's go to Matt in Philadelphia. What's going on, Matt?
Hey, Pat, how's it going?
Not too shabby. What do you want to talk about, dude?
First of all, I just wanted to say thank you for the shout out on my podcast. I called it a couple days ago.
Oh, the Black and Blue pod.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Did anybody? We haven't
AJ.
listened. AJ Hawkless.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We're going to talk to him today about it. So we haven't had anybody listen yet, but AJ is listening today, and we'll talk to him about it afterwards. So for sure. Can't wait to hear how it goes, Matt. What do you want to talk about today, bub?
So I just wanted to talk about.
Hey, hold on, Matt. What if AJ says it stinks?
Something you got to prepare for.
Matt, what if AJ says it stinks? I am a little bit now because there's a lot of people that say our shit stinks too. So this is just something that's going to happen whenever you're creating content. But what if AJ says it? Won't that be a little bit disheartening, Matt?
Hey, you know, you got to take the criticism and the praise with a grain of salt. You know, everything happens for a reason, and people may think it's, you know, they're not their cup of tea, but I'm still going to do it my way. I'm not going to let the hate or the praise get in my head, and, you know, stay humble and stay true to who I am.
That's right. Hell yeah. Hey, Matt, they don't build statues of those people telling you that your show stinks, okay?
No,
the people outside the stadium. It's the people in the arena that they build statues of, Matt. And I'm going to listen to your show, by the way, because I would like to potentially hear how it is. You know what I mean? I like picking up new content, new information. A lot of shit I think is terrible, but I do believe with you, Matt, I don't think that'll be the case. I think it'll be good. Excited to hear AJ's review of it. What do you want to talk about today, Matt? A lot of shit's bad, though.
I mean, before I get into my question, I would just love to say I would love to interview you, just because you're a big fan. I'm a big fan of yours, I should say, and I think it would be awesome to interview you. You've been a dream interview of mine, and I just wanted to get that out of the way before I got into my question.
Hey, cool. I appreciate you, Matt. Shoot your shot, pal. Let me listen to an episode. Let's hear what AJ has to say, and then we'll do that interview for sure. No matter what I think, by the way. We'll do an interview. I don't do a lot of those, by the way. No. I get asked to do a lot of them. I feel bad because if I can't do all of them, I feel this is kind of like a digs with fantasy football.
I feel your pain, man.
I really do. I feel bad because I'll get asked to do like somebody's show, and I'll do it. And then as soon as I do somebody's show, I'll get 50 messages from other people saying that I'm an asshole because I didn't do their show, but I did somebody else's show. It's like, God damn, I don't know. It was kind of I just did the show, man. That's all me. Last night I did Busted Open's holiday party, by the way.
How was
Nice.
it?
It was awesome. It was awesome. Tommy Dreamer was wearing a Santa Claus hat. Mark Henry was wearing a Christmas sweater.
Nice.
I mean, it was a good time. I like those guys a lot. But when I do people's shows, I get a bunch of shit from other people for not doing their shows. It's like, I wish I could do them all. That's why I don't do Cameo. Can't do the fucking Cameo. People are making $1 million on Cameo. What's his name?
Brian Baumgartner.
Yeah, I almost said something rude there. Big guy. The
Yeah,
big guy
Kevin
from
Malone.
The Office. He made $1 million on Cameo or whatever. And Cameo is a cool idea, I believe, for a lot of people. For me, putting a price on it would be insane. You know, I think I did it one time for like $20 or something, and then I couldn't do them all. So then I got a bad rating because I didn't respond to anybody. I was like, well, this seems to be. Oh, whoa! We can't hear it.
Let's go.
Is this a Zito production in the back? There we go. Oh, there we go.
It out. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is a man who, anyways, $1 million that dude made on Cameo.
Yeah. 14 cameos a day.
People ask why I don't do it. It's because I feel terrible if I don't answer somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I just go to my house, sleep, and come back to work every day. I don't want to fucking piss anybody off.
Smart.
It's hard. I need to get a little bit tougher then. You know what I mean? I need to stop letting the brain get like that. If I'm going to do Matt's show, I'm going to do Matt's show. And if anybody else got a problem with it, to hell with them.
There you go.
Yeah, but I don't feel like that. I'm going to feel bad when people tell me, why did I go on Matt's show and not on their show? They've been doing 100 shows. Matt's on like show number 3. Anyways, joining us now, ladies and gentlemen, man who's a running back from the University of Wisconsin. Go ahead and throw up the West Side or the Dubs, whichever way you want to do it. He has 414 yards in his last 3 games with the Indianapolis Colts of his rookie season. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Taylor.
There it is. Now we can hear.
Hey, was that Conti?
I don't know. This
it was.
It's the technology.
Yeah, well, Conti's a good dude, actually, and that's the only reason why we can talk shit on him on a national show, and it's okay. Before we get into, Wisconsin potentially, getting sandbagged this season by having their quarterback who had the best night in the history of college football basically on his opening night, and then he's told to go to prison for 21 days, can't even touch a football, then they come back. Before we get into that whole thing, because I know you got a lot of love for that, we have to talk about how you've been able to transition into this incredible NFL player through this season. Is it mental? Has it been physical? Has it been learning? What has it been, you think, that has made you really blossom here these last 3 weeks? Which, by the way, great news. This is when you should be playing your best football, and you seem to be doing that. What has it been this season that has got you to this point, you think, where you're dominant right now? You are absolutely dominant, JT.
It's definitely a mental aspect, especially when you come from a school where primarily you're under center, and then your last year you have a couple of schemes out of the gun. There's a lot of different schemes that require different timing, different tempo from the gun versus running that same scheme from underneath. So just realizing what scheme you're in, what set that you're in, and understanding the timing and the tempo, and it's something that takes reps. And apparently the year that we're having, it's an unprecedented year, so it took a little bit more reps because we had some reps taken away from us in the offseason.
Yeah, I would assume that's a little bit difficult to get timing, especially, and nobody ever thinks about the running backs timing, by the way. Everybody thinks about wide receivers, tight ends. They don't think about the running backs timing because you're so close to each other. But whenever there's different steps you have to take for different, schemes and shit like that, you don't even think about that. Earlier in the season, Phil Rivers was mic'd up. And he said 28 got the edge on you, I believe is what he said. 28 got the edge on you. It was to somebody on the Bears. But then also in that same game, he looked at you and he said, like, run his ass over. Like he told you, I think that was his exact quote. He didn't say ass, by the way. He was like, run him over, basically. What has it been like with Phil? Has he been like that mentor? Is it like that every day, every game? Because what a human to kind of be able to pick the brain of in your rookie season here.
I mean, it's been amazing. I mean, when you play with a guy who's has 17 years of experience, there's pretty much not any look he hasn't seen. So no matter if he's talking to me or if he's talking to a receiver or the OC, if I ever hear him open his mouth, I'm lending an ear just a little bit because you never know. Something that he says could just rub off on you, and you could utilize that on the field. So I'm always listening when 1-7 has his mouth open.
When you had early, did you think there was a chance? Because him saying run him over there or whatever, I don't know if the particular play that he was talking about there or what he was referring to. Did you think there was a chance when you came to the men's league, though, that like the hits would be much hard, like coming from college where you were so dominant. I mean, you just beat the shit out of people. It was awesome to watch. But when you come to the NFL, you got grown ass men in this thing. Was there any thought in your mind about that, about how your body would be able to hold up against older men and anything like that? Or was it just the same thing at all times?
So really my mindset was coming in here, I'm going to change my training. Of course, you got to change your training in order to keep up, like you said, with the 6, 7, 8 year vets that's been in this league. And so switching up your training, being able to build your body up physically is something that's definitely important. But then it's also guys are just playing faster. They could be coming with the same amount of force and velocity, as they did in college. But it's just the fact that they're playing a lot faster. So instead of that quick hesitation, once they see you have the ball, they're shooting it right now. So it's really a mental aspect of this game.
Man. What'd you change? You wanted to get bigger? Did you do a little bit more Olympic lift? What did you do?
I mean, one of the biggest things is really just protecting some of those key elements, shoulders. That's a big thing, especially as a running back. You got to make sure you're taking shoulder days seriously. A lot of guys think, we got a shoulder, back day, it's a light day. You got to take that very seriously because when you take those many hits, you got to make sure you're able to go throughout that season.
You're splitting time right now with Nyheim Hines, who, friend of the show, also a parkour extraordinaire.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What has your relationship been like with him? And has he taught you any triple McTwisties to do after you score a touchdown or anything like that?
I mean, Nyheim has been a tremendous help. I mean, the entire running back room has been a tremendous help. But Nyheim is always in my ear telling me things that he wish he knew when he was a rookie. And, he just says he wants to pass on the information to make it a better experience for myself. And I just have a ton of respect for him because he could have easily, said, hey, he's a rookie. He'll figure it out just like I had to. But instead, he wants to help not only me, but the entire running back room so that, we're at our best.
That's awesome. The offensive line is stacked, it feels like, over there. That was why one of the most desirable positions was to be the quarterback for the Colts because of how good the offensive line was. And now it feels like the run game is becoming something that's being concentrated on with you two, especially with you getting the rock a lot more than you had been in the past with Nyheim as well. The thought of that offensive line group, do they talk to you at all as a rookie? Is there any conversations where they may be like, say like, hey, you got to do this when we do this? Or is it just like all boosting, hey, we're here for you type stuff?
It's definitely a lot of communication going on. It's if we're getting a certain look that we, didn't really go over in practice because, of course, teams, this is the NFL, they're going to change some things up. And then they might ask a question, hey, would you rather for us to hook this guy, pin this guy? I mean, it's constant communication throughout the game. And I think that's what's been able to help the run game is us being able to be on the same page. So the timing, everything with the scheme is on point. And if we're all on the same page, then we should be able to execute to a T.
Anthony Costanzo is one of the most interesting humans of all time. Do you agree?
Oh, most definitely.
Oh, one of the most interesting. He's a brainiac who's this just absolute animal who flips a switch into a psychopath when he plays football. And he's one of the most interesting people of all time. But then Quentin Nelson in there, Ryan Kelly, I don't know if he's in or out or whatever. But they got West Virginia. The whole offensive line, though, has been awesome to watch. I'm happy you guys are starting to kind of reap the benefits of their impressiveness with the run game. We're talking to Jonathan Taylor, running back for the Indianapolis Colts out of the University of Wisconsin. And we were thinking here a little bit before the show, and you can take this this question for however you want. Do you find yourself, although you're in the middle of a playoff push and exploding onto the offensive rookie of the year conversation with how you've been playing and things are going well for the Indianapolis Colts, you're making good money, and all that stuff. Do you feel at all that because you left early from Wisconsin and they get their quarterback sent to jail for 21 days because he got COVID, do you feel a little bit of responsibility for them not winning as many games this year because you're not there and you left early?
That's a good question.
You know what I mean? Is it,
I mean, no one expected this kind of year. I mean, this year everything has been out of whack. I mean, and I think that the only way you can kind of prepare for this type of year is understanding that the only way you get through it is with the guys around you. So I know the guys that are still there at that school. I know them well. Like you said, I left early, so I still had time with those guys. And I know it's a great group of guys there. So they'll be able to get through it. They're going to hang tough through it together. This is just one of those unprecedented years. I mean, everything is flipped upside down, and this is just something that we're going to have to power through and get ready to lock in next year and be able to go back to playing, Wisconsin football when things aren't going haywire.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. Hey, man, your run with them was awesome to watch, though. Because we're in Indianapolis at the Big East or the Big Ten championships here. It was awesome to watch what you were able to do. Connor, what's good?
Jonathan, we've heard about the locker room games for the Colts. Have you been able to beat Phillip Rivers or Jacoby Brissett in any of them, or are they still running the table over there?
Good question.
Listen, it's a reason why you said those guys are running the table, because those guys, they run the table. And especially me being my first year, I got to make sure I work on my skill set, make sure that I'm ready to go. I got to pack a little bit more punch before I can take those guys down.
Smart. What are the games? Cornhole and basketball, right?
Yes, sir.
Jonathan, Listen, I love that there's cornhole back into that building. There used to be awesome games. I mean, there used to be awesome games in that building. I'd assume there is still. Is it an active boards? Are the boards active?
Every single day.
Oh my God, that was back when we were winning games, dude. Oh man, it's a big deal. By the way, that's a big deal. You kind of bring defense plays against offense. You got special teams in there. It's really like a camaraderie time where some teams are like, they should be watching film if they're in there. Okay, if they got enough time to throw goddamn cornhole, they got enough time to watch them film. It's like that's building a whole different aspect of a team, which by the way, you can't really do in the same old fashion you used to be able to. You guys still can't eat lunch with each other, right? Anything like that. As a rookie, how has it been kind of gelling into the team? Has it just been, I mean, you don't know any other way, but have you seen any obstacles in like kind of building camaraderie, or has the team figured that out from the jump?
Like I said, cornhole is definitely one way that guys have been able to build that camaraderie. You like eating lunch together. I mean, we're all spread out. So that's kind of tough unless you're shouting across the table, trying to talk to someone. So, and it really out on the practice field is a lot when, guys are building camaraderie, being able to just chit chat, whether you're, not in for a play or whether you guys are breaking it down after practice or before practice warming up. So we're trying to find times where we can still build that camaraderie while still following the rules, being safe and being conscious of all those things we have to do.
Hey, it takes all of us, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
It takes all of us. It never gets talked about because it can't be put into a number. But the team liking each other is the most important thing, a part of a team. And you don't hear it from ESPN. You don't hear it on Fox. You don't hear it on NFL Network even. All you hear about is the points scored, the yards rushed, the 40 times, the this. A team being a team is one of the most important things. And that's why with all these COVID rules, it's such an interesting thing because you're seeing some teams kind of, you can tell that they've been able to somehow figure out, and other teams just kind of falling apart. Diggs, what do you got?
Jonathan, when you and Naheem were in the Wildcat formation, were you as shocked as we were that you actually got the ball, that he handed the ball off? Because it's a rarity when in the Wildcat, the running back is going to hand the ball off to another running back.
That is true. That's a touchdown.
I actually wasn't shocked. He told me in practice, he said, listen, if we get this look, which was the exact look that we got, he said, I'm just ride it a little bit longer and then I'm going to hand it off. And I trust that you're going to beat him to the edge because I know that you're fast. So, I mean, it's something that we went over in practice multiple times. So when we got that look, we both knew what was going to happen on that play.
How do you keep yourself cool? Because Troy Polamalu, all right? Troy Polamalu, when I was with the Colts, he said he could sense an aura about me jogging on the field that we were potentially going to run a fake, and he decided to line up on the opposite side as he always does and ruin my life. Okay, Conti's there. You can fucking ask him about it. It was a long trip home. All right, that whole thing. But how do you, whenever you're standing back there and you and Naheem Hines are literally looking at the exact thing that you thought was going to come, is there a moment where you look at each other and go like, oh, hey, pretty fucking good that we did that? Is that, or how do you, is there no, like, what is it? You just got to play it cool. You got to kind of keep your cards to yourself, or what?
I think the biggest thing you have to do is you got to remember all the small little details. Usually when you get a look and you know exactly what's going to happen, you might start smiling ear to ear inside of your head and you're like, okay, it's about to happen. And then that's when you can easily lose track of a small detail of the play that usually is routine because you think, oh, this is going to be a score. This is going to be a touchdown. So once that happens, you got to take a deep breath and remember all the small little details so that you're still able to execute at a high level.
How old are you?
21.
Man. Damn. That's like a super, wise thing. I think I was 27 when I was doing that. And if I saw something I liked, I was like, let's fuck it. I wasn't even thinking about anything. I was like, let's go. This is going to be awesome. Jonathan, continue your dominance, pal. It has been absolutely awesome to watch as a Colts fan, as a former Colts player. Ballard got a great one. Obviously, that's what Chris Ballard does. And I hope you call Indianapolis home for a long time, brother.
Thank you so much, Pat. I appreciate you having me on.
Hey, no problem, man. We'll teach you how to play some cornhole, too, whenever, the whole COVID thing goes down or whatever in the offseason. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, Jonathan Taylor. Thank you, buddy. He's super wise, kid.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. What's that all about, dude?
What is that all about?
Are these kids just smarter than, that much smarter and more mature than us as well? What's the deal?
That generation? No, because Mitt's back there,
Yeah.
and he's 22, so it can't be that.
Oh, listen about you.
But we did talk about how Mitt is the least lit kid of his generation.
True.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
He dresses well, but he is not anything like of his generation.
No, he's not.
He doesn't even know how the TikTok works.
No.
Guy has no idea. What do we have him here for, by the way?
Good question.
Doesn't know how to do a TikTok. I know we have him here for, by the way.
Oh, what's that?
The guy can build anything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
He is
engineer.
He builds graphics out of nowhere. He's putting shirts together now at this point.
He's a savant.
He is a savant.
I mean, you can say what you want about Mitt. A lot of people take a lot of pot shots at Mitt. He is a savant.
Has Mitt ever been in a bad mood either?
No.
No. I
That,
think so.
by the way, might be his best trait.
Yeah.
By the way, if you want to get a job somewhere, just show up and be positive. That is something I think will carry you a long way. Because there's a lot of what's that, Nick?
Ignorance is bliss.
No, yeah. See, that's the negative guy. You see
yeah,
what I?
yeah,
That's a guy who is negative.
We
there
were,
with
thinking,
Nick.
we were all thinking it.
Yeah,
but-
well, you guys were thinking because you're negative. But if you show up at a place and you're just positive and you don't just, I feel like that's a rather. It's
gonna help you out.
All right, there's a lot of people here that are going to fuck something up, but at least this guy's going to be in a good mood.
He's always smiling.
Hey, Mitt is always in a good mood.
He is.
And Mitt, you are a savant. Have you always been like an engineer type guy where you just build stuff? Like, how does this all play out?
I just have a dad that taught me how to do a lot of things, and I like showing up in a good mood.
Hey,
There you go.
hey, good acceptance speech. Mitt is a full-time employee now, so we no longer have an intern. Yeah.
A lot of people didn't think he'd make it.
No, he kind of just stuck around. Genius move, by the way.
He did, yeah.
Genius
It
move.
was supposed to be for what? I think it was only supposed to be like 6 weeks or 7 weeks. And then he just kept showing up. And then the
Hey, I don't have
conversation.
anything to do tomorrow. I can come in. I mean, he just started doing
Yeah, it was
that.
supposed to be what?
Awesome.
Monday through Thursday.
Yeah.
And then he just started showing up every single day and never left.
COVID took away his football season and then his lacrosse season because he contemplated playing lacrosse again this year.
Oh, yeah. And he was working out in here for lacrosse.
Athlete.
And then COVID took that out.
All right, I'll just stay here then.
Yeah, they'll give me a job eventually.
Fuck it.
And we did, by the way. That's why this is the dumbest place to work on earth.
Played his cards very well, man.
Because, I think that is also why I don't like interns. Because I know, all right, I'm going to end up having to pay this person a full-time gig because there's no way I'm just going to let them go. There's no way because they're going to come in here, they're going to figure it out or whatever, they're going to move on. Jonathan Taylor, though, seems to be very wise for his generation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's go to Jake in Pennsylvania. What's going on, Jake? I mean, I was a big fan of JT there. Is that
Hey, Pat, big fan.
He's only 21.
Yeah, fucking unbelievable. Sorry, Jake, go ahead. What's up, bub?
I'm a big fan. I just wanted to say, one, Foxy, please stop being a Steelers fan.
Shut up, Jake.
No, you shut
Listen,
up.
Foxy, stay with Detroit. They've sucked long enough. You could keep sucking.
Fucking shovel, dude. Shovel. What are you a big Steelers fan, I assume, Jake?
I'm a huge Steelers fan. It's not good right now for the Steelers, but I just think it's fatigue. I feel like them screwing with the schedule.
It's been a long season.
I feel like it's just everything's hitting them at once.
Hey, Jake, that's a very reasonable take right there. Because whenever they were forced to take the early bye week when they didn't even know they had a bye week, I think my first thing was we should look out for the later weeks here because they're going to get tired. I think that was, and then I've completely forgot that. Jake is 100% right because we've watched them play the last couple of games and they have not looked like the team that they are. At some point, fatigue is going to hit it. Maybe the boys just rested the last 8 days where they had 2 games in 8 days or whatever. Maybe the boys just rested and say, hey, we'll lose it to Washington, I guess. I mean, it's going to suck. It's on a Wednesday afternoon, and everybody's going to be watching. But, I mean, they wouldn't even put us on goddamn primetime. Instead, they do a recycled old tree shit thing for us. And then we'll lose the Bills because it's okay, the Bills or whatever. And then the boys are going to come back refreshed and juiced, probably.
Hell yeah.
That's probably what's going to happen.
One extra day of rest this week since they're on Monday night against against the Bengals.
And I want to let everybody know that they're probably going to beat the shit out of the Bengals.
Hopefully.
But if Zach Taylor can figure out how to win a football game all of a sudden out of nowhere here, week 15, 2020, Monday Night Football, and shit on the Steelers, boy, that would be a hilarious Tuesday.
Like I said,
Tuesday would be awesome.
They didn't need, like I said, they did not need a primetime game this week.
If the
Here we
Steelers
are.
lose on Monday, I'm done being a Steelers.
Oh, my God.
Tell you what, I would give up winning division on Monday for you to not be a Steelers fan.
Whoa. You'd rather the Steelers
I suck
lose?
at that. Well, yeah. You gotta think,
Nick seconds.
You got to think about the long term. One loss for getting rid of him is.
Let's talk to Jeff in Minnesota. What's going on, Jeff?
Hey, what's going on, Pat? Thanks for having me back. I just want to say a big shout out to you guys and the boys for having the best pod, the best talk show, and the making the most money ever in the Hammer Down series.
Hey, thank you. Thank you for following all of us, Jeff. Jeff, I'm a big fan of yours. I think the boys are as well. As soon as your voice came on, you couldn't see, but all the boys pointed, and they said, that's the guy. So we appreciate you, brother. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, I appreciate you guys. I actually have gone into trying to do some commentating work on the 2K league. So like the NBA basketball game.
Yeah.
We're trying to get that in
Harden's
just
playing the one
because
and
of
the
you
two.
guys.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. No. Back to for Minnesota now, Aaron Rodgers, basically his contract is up after next year.
This year, too.
They have dead caps back. Now he could take the Brett Favre route and go somewhere else, or he could just come right back to Minnesota.
Yeah, never
and try
gonna
to win
happen.
a ship for it.
Hey, Jeff, keep it going, pal. Can't wait to hear your 2K games. I like Jeff. I like his voice. You know, a very good Wisconsin voice there. Aaron Rodgers probably moving teams, after this season, you think, Ty? You think it's going to be this season or when? Yeah.
Well, no, because when they win the Super Bowl this year, they're going to have to fucking give him a 10-year extension.
Oh, okay. So you think he's never leaving after the Super Bowl this year?
I don't. You know what? If they somehow let him go with the way he's been playing, I may take gasoline up to Lambeau myself and fucking burn the whole place down.
With a can full of gas and a handful of matches.
Exactly.
Ty Schmidt's about to find out.
Yeah.
Good for Gunther Guns, potentially.
There's no way you can let him go. There's no way you can let him go.
Let's go to Greg in Kansas. Last call of the hour here. Greg, what's going on, pal?
Hey, Pat. Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for coming on. I like the way you're super positive there. What do you want to talk about, dude?
Hey.
What's your name,
I was a
G,
big
Greg?
fan
What you
of the
do?
Virginia football
How you
team
do it?
Played on in the late 2000s. In
True.
fact, I think anybody that played NCAA football in that era, that was the team to play as, with Pat White, Slayton, Noel Devine, just an awesome crew. I was curious if you think, as we look at Lamar Jackson and Kyler Murray and as the offenses, how they've evolved since the 2000s, if you think that if Pat White was coming out in today's NFL, if he could have been as good, if not
Probably
better,
number
with
one,
those
number
guys.
two.
Because if you ask me,
Guaranteed.
Pat White is one of the most underappreciated guys. These newer fans, I don't think they realize just how good he was.
Greg, great question, great statement. Pat White would probably be number 1, number 2 overall pick if he came out this year. You got to remember, a lot of people go to his combine 40 time he ran. That's because he put on 15 or 20 pounds because they told him he had to beef up to be the style of quarterback that they wanted him to be or whatever. Pat was electrifying, gamer, great leader, and his highlight reels would have been shoved down GM's throats so much if it was around this social media age. The shit Pat White, Steve Slayton, Noel Devine, Owen Schmidt, Darius Renaud, that entire offense, the shit they used to do to people was awesome to watch. I got to obviously ride on their coattails to a lot of really cool places and games and things like that. And we lost a couple games, you know what I mean? But we won a lot. I mean, there was a lot of celebrating. A lot. 4 straight bowl games, wins. For Pat 5, actually, if you count the Senior Bowl, he got the MVP of that game as well. 2 of them being BCS, Fiesta Bowl, Sugar Bowl. I mean, it was fucking unbelievable to watch. And Pat White would be number 1, number 2 overall pick if he came out now.
Kid from Miami, De'Ara King, is basically the exact same thing, and he broke the record for.
I think Pat White was much better than De'Ara.
I'm saying size and the way they play the game.
No, Pat White's taller than De'Ara King, too,
Really?
I think. Yeah. So it was, see, he was referring to you whenever he was saying people didn't really remember.
I clearly don't.
No, but it's not your fault because you're young. And they also buried that video game, which he was awesome in. So it was now granted, O'Banion or whatever their names
Ed
were.
O'Banion.
I got $15 from that game being shut down. Shout out to Ed. Shout out. Got that check. But if he was drafted 5 times to the majors for baseball because everybody thought because the style of football that it was back then, he wasn't going to work in football. So they wanted his rights because he was stud baseball player. I mean, he was recruited to Alabama, I think, and LSU to play wide receiver and corner. West Virginia was the only place that said he could play quarterback. Adam Bednarik got hurt. He's out. Pat White comes in, 65-yard touchdown run, I think the first play, and that's all she fucking wrote for old Bednarik. See you later, bub.
Sorry.
It was awesome. Pat was super cool, too. Yeah, he doesn't get talked about enough. Consider this Wednesday, December 16th, a nice tribute, though, 10-minute there for Pat White. Hour 1's wrapping up. On the other side, we got Sham Sharani. You got about 6 minutes. Go ahead and take a shit. Let me tell you a little story about these statistics. Troy Polamalu, okay? Fucking Troy Polamalu. So we had a fake for the Pittsburgh Steelers that was a 100%er. We didn't even have a cancel the goddamn play because it was a 100%er. If we ever end up in this situation, inside the 7-yard line on the left hash, it is a 100%er that the C gap will be wide open and we will just part the C to the left. It'll be a touchdown. 100%er. We're playing in Pittsburgh, the city I grew up in. I grew up in Pittsburgh. I won the punt, pass, and kick national championship, AJ. National championship, AJ.
Congrats.
AJ, did you ever win the national championship, punt, pass, and kick?
I think I got third or fourth out of 4 at the Nationals.
I'm proud of you, man. Anyways, so we're there in that stadium, okay? A lot of McAfee's in there. A lot of McAfee's in Pittsburgh. I'm going to score my first fucking touchdown, night game, Sunday Night Football, I believe it was, right here, touchdown. We get into that situation, and I'm like, holy fuck, this is really going to happen. We're like on the 6, on the left hash. It's 4th and goal now. Field goal team's jogging on. I'm like, well, fuck, it's about to, I'm ready. I am ready for this to happen. So I get out there. I get down. Vinny's like happy for me. Vinny's like very excited. He's like, let's fucking go. Like Vinny's excited for me at this moment. I'm like, here we go. So I make the call. I forget what it was. So I start saying it, right? And everybody's looking at me like, okay, bright eyes. Here we go. Let's get after it. Offensive linemen are dead ass tired. They do not want to be in the middle of a field goal anyways. So they're just like, all right, I don't give a fuck if you die here, but this should work. Let's get some points. And all of a sudden, I go through my cadence, I call it, I get down, and Troy Polamalu's fucking ass goes ahead for however long his career was at this point. I think it was like 9 years or 8 years at this point. Not a once has he ever gone to this side of the field over here to the left and stood right in the C gap. Never. He lined up exactly where he had lined in film 100% of the time. And then as soon as I got to like the second cadence right before set, he just bounced his little ass right over to the C gap. And I like stopped everything I was doing and I literally just looked at him. And I gave him like what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, why are you there right now? And then I stood up and said, we are kicking it. We have to kick it. We are kicking this. And then I get down, and Vinatieri kicks it, and I jog off the field, and Chuck Pagano comes running up next to me. He's like, hey, good job. What you see? I said, what did I see? Polamalu just fucking went right into the goddamn C gap. What did I see? What did I see? And he goes, okay, sounds good. Good call then. Good call then. And then Vinatieri's like, hey, way to go, buddy. I'm like, way to go? Are we not going to talk about how big of a fucking asshole Troy Polamalu is for what just happened right there? So that's.
I saw the angel of death waiting for me in the C gap.
It's unbelievable. What, you thought I was going to run him over? No way. He's probably going to strip me and score a touchdown the other fucking. That's Polamalu, bro. That ain't just your backyard football with your son. These are professional fucking athletes. He'd probably jump over the lineman, pick me up, and run me into the other fucking end zone if he wanted to. That's what he would have done.
The hard-hitting safety of his generation, too. I mean, Ed Reed, great cover safety. I don't know that you would have feared him, but
Ed Reed, I would have feared Ed Reed. Yeah, if I saw Ed Reed in that C gap, absolutely. E.D. Reed, boy, the best safety you ever seen, boy. I ain't doing shit to Ed Reed.
No, Ed Reed would have made the tackle. I'm saying that Polamalu would have shaved years off your life.
Oh, my God. This next song is called Tornado by Who Are You?
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
It's coming. Grab your ankles.
Hold on to the cars. Have you ever seen the movie Twister? It's getting a bit windy out here. Got some warm weather, cold weather, meeting right here. There's a problem. It's a tornado. There's a problem. Do we want it? Hell no. This song goes hard. Yeah, the beat goes ham, and it's so fucking breezy. I can't even stand. Gotta go to the basement, away from all the windows. Cause if I'm near them, then I will fucking feel those. Cause the wind is the glass, and the glass will break. How much can the house fucking take? Just a couple months ago, I was standing outside, right next to my beautiful wife, when we heard a fucking train about to come through the trees, and we sprinted to the basement, almost made me fucking pee, because the breeze was coming. Yeah, I like this one.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, this one's pretty good. That one's pretty good.
The Pat McAfee Show.
There'll be no rules for our guests, for us, for the things we can talk about.
Speaking his mind.
I've never had a problem expressing my opinions or my thoughts or anything like that.
While being relatable.
I haven't had that manufactured fake-ass celebrity that a lot of people have whenever they go on those big networks. I've had a chance to really build my crew, build my following, build my audience.
And ridiculous.
What am I supposed to do? So I'm supposed to look at something that I can definitely afford and say, nah. Is that what I'm supposed to do?
The Pat McAfee Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here, Wednesday, December 16th, 2020. Hour 2 of this stupid show begins right now. Shout out to Twine for that beat drop. Welcome back to the show. In the first hour, we talked to Jonathan Taylor, running back for the Indianapolis Colts, about his transition into the NFL. He's been awesome to watch, and he seems like he's more mature than all of us, which is good for the Colts, good for their run in the playoffs right now, and hopefully good for the city of Indianapolis for a long, long time. He's going to get paid, I do believe, whenever his time comes up. Now, there is so many things that could happen, injury-wise and all that shit, but it feels like he's well on his way to figuring out football, especially after talking to him. Big thanks to Jonathan Taylor for his time, and also Matt Conti for fucking up the audio.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Conti. You know Conti.
Oh, I know.
He's a Zito fan, Conti. He's a Zito fan. But that guy just messed up the whole show, didn't he?
He tried bringing the whole show down.
The whole show down. It's a little payback for a few years ago whenever, he had to go run information from me to people who didn't like me and then back down to me another way. He was, kind of the middleman there for a while. He was the private secretary, if you watch The Crown, basically.
Ooh.
Not for me, but for somebody else. And he had to come talk to me a few times for said person. It was always a very interesting situation. But love Conti, love the Colts, love Jonathan Taylor. In this hour, we'll be talking to Shams Charania.
Oh, let's go.
Shams Charania, big basketball. Basketball is happening right now.
Yeah. Wow.
It seems like it just ended, and it did. But it is happening again, and there is drama everywhere. And to talk about it all and tell us what's going down in the basketball world, since it is happening again, from the Athletic and Stadium, ladies and gentlemen, Shams Charania. Let's go, Shams. Do you cut your own hair? You got to cut your own hair. It is always an incredible fade every single time you join us. You look amazing.
I wish I could take credit, man, but I don't do my own hair.
Well, you look damn good. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. Basketball's happening already. What are we in right now? What should I be looking forward to? We're in preseason right now. How long is this? Are real players playing? What's going on in the NBA?
It ends on the 19th, so the end of preseason is coming up here, and then we're going to have a couple days in between. The regular season tips off on the 22nd. But, the two things that I was really monitoring over the last week or so, and one of them is still going to go on, but the Giannis Antetokounmpo, whether he would sign it or won't sign it, he ended up agreeing to the deal yesterday. And then the thing that's really, I think, clouding around the league now is the James Harden saga, which, he suited up for the Rockets last night. He's going to play for the foreseeable future until they have a deal that's on the table. And right now, I don't see anything that makes sense for the Rockets within sight. But again, these things can change. We'll see how fluid it becomes. As you guys see, I just got a call right there. So
yeah, answer it. Do what you got to do. Who is it?
No, I'm not gonna answer it yet.
Oh!
I can't even see. He doesn't even tell me. I wish I could.
Oh, did we just bury his whole career right there? Hey,
no.
we call back. Call back. You can call back.
We're good. No, we're good.
If you miss it though.
Oh no.
Your own fault. Fuck it. It's your own fault. You could have left. We gave you the option. Now, the Giannis thing, you wrote an incredible piece for The Athletic about how the kind of the twists and turns of that entire thing, because down at the bubble just, a few months ago, it feels like maybe a month ago, the conversation was he was going to go to Miami, he was going to potentially go somewhere else. But now that they lock him down for 5 years with $228 million, the biggest contract in NBA history, there's still a thought that he could potentially not end up there? Is there people on Supermaxes have left or got traded before?
This is the first time a Supermax player, obviously the biggest contract in league history. There have been players that have signed Supermax before. Russell Westbrook, he got traded on his with the Thunder. Steph Curry also signed for his a few years ago for $201 million in, I believe, 2018. So guys have signed for the Supermax have gotten traded. This is the first, obviously, major contract over $220 million, ended up at 228.2. And as I wrote and as I've reported, this wasn't an easy decision for Giannis. He got this offer on the table formally on December 5th. He just now agreed to this deal over 2 weeks later. And so for him, He really needed to be sold by the Milwaukee Bucks. They really grinded this out. This took multiple meetings with ownership and his agent, Alex Saratzis, to figure out, is this ownership group, is this franchise really committed to doing what Giannis wants to do most, and that's winning. He wanted to stay with the Bucks, and there was always this thought around the franchise that if they didn't find a common ground on an extension this year, and if Giannis left open the window for him to leave as a free agent, they might need to look around and see, and do what's best for the franchise, because the last thing you want is an asset that you're going to lose in 1 year. And if they felt like there was a chance that Giannis was leaving, I do believe that window was open for them to look around the league. Obviously, it didn't need to come down to that. He decided to take that extension, but Giannis wanted to see their vision, wanted to know that they wanted to win, and you saw the moves that they made this summer. You bring in Drew Holiday, you make trades, you make signings across the league. They unfortunately were not able to get Bogdanovich, but they still, I think, recovered as well as they could.
Okay, so the NBA is such an interesting one because, as you just laid out there has been people who have signed Supermaxes to their team and then said, all right, I'm getting the fuck out of here. And you talked about how Giannis wanted to see the team's vision before he signed on. Hilarious. Love that. I wish NFL players could do that. But now it's coming out, and there's a bunch of sources with James Harden, the other story that you talked about that you've been covering. James wants out of Houston or whatever. They offered him $200 million. He said, no, I don't want it. And now it's coming out that it feels like the Houston Rockets are trying to do a little PR control here about how they've treated James Harden, because James Harden wanting out of Houston is probably not a good look for the Rockets or whatever. So now it's coming out. He's had control over every decision since 2012, they're saying, behind closed doors. Then more stories are coming out. Like, if there was any time off, James Harden was flying somewhere to party. Then he would come back and he would do a 50-point triple-double or whatever, which, by the way, if that was to make him look bad, it didn't. That made him look even better. Now he's demanding a trade. He looks not like James Harden would look. I'm not saying he potentially put on 20 to 30 in the last month or so, but he looks like a different player. And now he still wants out of there, but they're going to start their games here. He's showing up. What does he have to do? Just not give effort? Like, how will this play out in a harmonic fashion at all? And who would want to play alongside James Harden? Like, I've heard that their asking price is a couple ones and something else for that. Teams haven't had much success when James Harden is the focal point, right? Like, the Houston Rockets have not won the entire thing. It always seems like they lose to a good team. Does James want to change his style of play? How does that whole situation end up, you think?
Yeah, so James Harden's going to have to remain professional. The one thing about him is he loves playing basketball, and this is his occupation, and he's going to go about things a way that's not normal for most NBA players, right? He spends time in Atlanta, in Las Vegas, and for a lot of people around the Rockets, that was James Harden being James Harden. Across the last few seasons, he's taken a few days, to travel out of town when he's not, when they have a few off days. That was part of James Harden, and it still, may be part of James Harden's routine. Of course, we're living in a different time right now. We're dealing with the pandemic, and I think that was one of the major reasons why that was, a bad look for a lot of people around the league. They looked at James Harden, at a club or at this location without a mask on, and you look at it in a different way, given what's going on in the country. But James Harden will be professional. He'll play, and it's not out of the norm for a player of his stature to have control over practice timings or over different things around the team. To me, that is pretty much normal as far as what superstars, what's at their leisure. But at the end of the day, the Rockets aren't going to just make a bad deal. They're going to have to wait out this market. I don't think there's a deal on the table right now that they would take. Clearly, there isn't. If you're the Rockets, do you wait out if Ben Simmons becomes available in Philadelphia? That might be the number one trade chip potentially that you can acquire. If
he
you're
can
the
shoot
Rockets.
now, right? He can shoot a basketball now, right? Can he shoot?
He didn't shoot. I don't know if he shot any threes last night, but I do know he's trying to become more accustomed to shooting those threes. But
he was an NBA guy that couldn't shoot a basketball, right?
Yeah.
He was just so athletic that's how he made it to the NBA, and then they had to teach him how to shoot. Isn't that what happened with him?
Listen, to be an all NBA player and not be able, to have a reliable jumper, to me speaks to what he brings to the table. He's able to play high level defense, all NBA defensive team. So I do think Ben Simmons is probably the number one guy that you can go out and get, right? If you're, the four teams that he's open to a trade, you're looking at Brooklyn, Miami, Milwaukee. Milwaukee, I'm told, is unlikely to make a run at James Harden. Brooklyn does not have the package that suits Houston's needs. And if you look around, Philadelphia, that is a potential spot if they can get Ben Simmons.
You're the best, Shams. I feel like I just learned everything I need to. Lakers are going to win again?
It says poor connection, so I don't know if you guys can see me. Hopefully you guys can.
Oh, yeah, we can.
I think they're the favorites. I think they're the favorites. I think they've made their team as best, as much as you can improve a team after a championship. They've done it. I do think they're my favorites right now.
Shams the best. Shams, you're the absolute best.
Yeah, Shams, are we going to see fans in the stands this year, or is that off the table?
Golden State, they said they were doing something, weren't they?
So right now, I think we're going to have 6-7 teams that are going to open up with fans, right? I think Orlando is going to do 4,000 fans in the arena. You're going to have teams around the league do 1,000, 2,000, 1,500. I do think by April, May, June, that is when the NBA expects vaccines to be available for the general population. And when that's the case, I think you're going to see a flurry of teams try to bring in fans because that's 40% of the league's revenue.
Is that what? Did you just break some news there? So April, May, June, we should be expecting a vaccine available for most population?
The general population vaccine, the NBA, and a lot of different medical experts that I've spoken to, and that they've made clear to the professional leagues around April to June, they do expect general population.
Okay,
all right.
My birthday's May.
Ooh,
yeah, man.
There you go. Birthday, go to the Pacers game.
Hey, I won't. I'll go to the Bulls game. I'm becoming a big Bulls guy.
Yeah.
I'm becoming a big Bulls guy.
Let's go.
The Bulls sent me a full gift package here. The Bulls are recruiting me to be a fan of their team.
They love you.
I'm like, listen, hey, let's do it, man. Is Benny the Bull still running around? Shams, is Benny the Bull on IR? Is he going to be allowed to perform?
I would not expect it. I think they're keeping everything. Most teams
Benny
are
the
trying to keep
Bull!
as essential as possible. So I would
he's
not
essential.
expect that.
He is essential. Shams, can't thank you enough, dude. You're the absolute best. Can't wait to see what news you break that you missed originally on our show earlier, so we appreciate it. Shams, let's go, Shams. Basketball, it's kind of interesting because there's so many games and none of them really matter. Just if you're going to go for a night out or whatever, it's kind of what it is. It's something good if you're in an NBA city or whatever. But at the end, I just need to know who's going to. He said Lakers are going to win it all. All right, that's good. All right, that's all I need to know. That's the team I'm cheering for this year then. Them and the Bulls. Cheering for the Lakers and the Bulls. We're going to win a championship, and I'm going to go hopefully see Benny the Bull fucking run around. What's going on?
Similar to what Shams said, the MLB said that they're going to not start their league until probably May when all their players can be vaccinated.
And similar to the MLB and the NBA, they did a bubble. NFL says no bubble for playoffs.
Not doing
By
it.
the way, that rumor was started, and whatever we heard it, by the way. And our job is to talk about rumors, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Guy named Jeremy in Detroit. Go ahead and take a fucking hike, dude.
See ya.
All right, bro. Okay, just take a hike, dude. You're a hero. All right, I just want to let you know you're a hero.
Kick rocks.
But there was a rumor that the NFL was potentially going to make a bubble around the NFL playoffs. And we talked about it on this show, and I got 10 text messages from coaches and players, former teammates and friends of mine, that all said, stop with the bubble talk, Pat. Okay? Don't even fucking put it out there. So I just want to say this. We were big proponents of the bubble in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
We were supporters of this because it takes all of us.
Takes all of us.
And these NFL guys, they're not going out to any dinners with their family. Okay, they're doing no holidays with anybody. Can't even go get food with your girlfriend or your lady if it's their birthday because it takes all of us NFL players.
Right.
And if there's a rumor you guys are going to be bubbled because you guys don't understand that you're not allowed to go breathe air outside.
No.
You're not allowed to walk your dog.
Absolutely not.
You think you're a human? Absolutely not. You are an NFL football player. Amen. So whenever that bubble has come, listen, we need playoff football.
We need
playoff football.
football.
It's a winter. There's 6 inches outside everywhere. We need playoff football. So the NFL says no bubbles needed. We're like, I guess, dude. I guess. Could you imagine how fucking miserable that would have been for everybody?
Oh,
You go through all season. Okay, think about the teams. There's some teams in the playoff now that have had zero COVID situation. I guess the Seattle Seahawks are the only team, but there's been a lot of teams that have controlled the whole thing there. And if they get to the playoffs with the most important games, okay? All right, now By the way, go stay in this hotel down here. You guys are going to practice on like a 30-yard field out here, and then you guys are going to do this thing. It would have been really incredible to see how the NFL would have been able to set that up for how big it was. And the players, I think, they've taken on a lot of ownership of this entire thing. Yeah. There was a couple of scares. There was a couple outbreaks. Congrats to the NFL for being able to shuffle the games to get us to where we're at. Now, we aren't out of the woods yet. There's still some things that could pop off. But it feels like to get to this point, why would you change it to get to the playoffs then? If there hasn't been an extended week or anything like that, why would you change it? You already got here. And I think the NFL ran into two big problems. You're right. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And also, we would have to build a city to be able to do this for the NFL, and we just can't fucking do that. So I think that is why the bubble for the playoffs has been ruled out completely.
Bubble will be miserable, but could you imagine watching your team play a playoff game with the quarterback who may not be able to play because he has COVID?
Yeah, it's going to happen.
I mean, it's.
But the bubble isn't necessarily going to win. The bubble isn't necessarily going to be foolproof. No. I mean, you got to remember, the NBA, much smaller operation. They had the entire thing. They had, DoorDash drivers just running in the thing, in the entire thing. So, now granted, has the bubble been foolproof for the MLS, I believe, for the NBA and everything like that? I guess it got them through a season. But who says with how big it has to be with the NFL bubble, that it would be 100%? I just don't know if at this point we know enough about the Rona to be able to say that it would be 100%. But it would suck for a team. You get to the AFC Championship game, NFC Championship game, and you got, what was his name? Keenan Gilden.
Oh, yeah, Keegan Hilden.
Keegan Hilden playing quarterback for you, guy who hasn't taken a snap since his junior year of college at Wake Forest, which is a known pass-happy team.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? That would be wild. Potentially going to happen, but that's why the boys got to remember. Takes all of us.
It does.
Don't even think about going out for any birthdays, celebrations. Those are canceled, okay?
Stay home.
Those are canceled this year.
And to your point, we do need to commend teams like the Jets and the Bengals for sticking with it. I mean, they fucking stink. They get the doors blown off every week, and they keep getting tested. They keep making sure these games go off without a hitch.
Because there's some college teams that got their asses beat. Then all of a sudden, the rest of their games are canceled because of COVID. It's like their players, they're being told, hey, you guys aren't allowed to go to that party. It's happened about 6 inches below your apartment. You are not allowed to go down there. You see all your fellow student humans, okay? They're not student human athletes, but the fellow student humans having a good time. You can't go there. And then you lose your first game, and you're like, we still got everything in front of us. Lose your second game, that party's popping off a little bit more now.
Oh, yeah.
There's some more stuff going on.
New songs coming out.
Oh, there's some new bangers.
The new Harlow.
Oh, there's the new TikTok dance where you're chopping your feet on the
Oh, man.
Yeah. So you lose 4 games, all of a sudden, you're going to get a part of the roster. It's going to be like, hey, listen, we fucking stink this year. Do you see how much fun they're having? School sucks. Let's get out. We're going to be in debt forever. The bottom half of the roster's not on scholarship. We're going to go do that. And then all of a sudden, you lose 5 games. And then everybody's like, yeah, fuck this season. We'll come back next year. This doesn't even count towards our eligibility. We'll be fucking freshmen again next year. We're gone with it. That has happened in college. Hasn't happened in the NFL, which is impressive.
Well, what about, not even just the losing team in college. What if about the disrespected, undefeated teams that stay undefeated and keep dropping in the rankings every fucking week because it's a scam?
Yeah, it is a scam. It's a racket. We're going to get to a break, and on the other side of it, want to let you know, we're going to step into the batter's box, and we're going to swing the shit out of the bat for the Cincinnati Bearcats. We're getting screwed in this entire thing. Now, Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, I've been a fan since the very beginning.
Oh, yeah?
I love what they got going on. Love what they did with BYU in the quick turnaround college. Big win. Great game, by the way. Great game. Great team. Love the surf turf.
Oh, yeah.
The teal field. It's a real deal down there.
Yeah.
But the Chanticleers, next year, I think if they're undefeated, they should be a team that should be talked about. This Cincinnati team's been building for a couple years. Now, last year they weren't undefeated, but they've been building for a couple years. They're mature. They're athletic. They're undefeated. Now, granted, they had a COVID situation last week. They didn't get to play. They dropped 3 spots because of a COVID. And all of a sudden, they're just trying to push them out of college football playoff because it's all about the green.
Yeah,
it's all about the bank account. It's all about the pockets getting greased to the people making decisions. We'll talk about that on the other side. That's a tease. This is a fucking show, and it is going to be chaos on the other side. This is the Pat McAfee Show, Wednesday, December 16th.
Those plane rides home from an away game, an away victory, are some of the best times I've ever had in my entire life. And it's all just, it's dudes at 35,000 feet with a terrible sound system because you have you have somebody's cell phone going into that over the plane. And it was just like a cool, it was like real happiness for a lot of people on that team. I don't think they experienced a lot of real happiness because of how focused they were on their jobs. There were a lot of older guys. So like their only moments of happiness, I think, were those flights home, like after a big win, like genuine happiness. Their entire life was dedicated to football. So all week, all they were thinking about was the game. And then that trip home, that like 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it was like a moment for them just to completely like relax and not worry about next week or the past week, their family, nothing. We're at 35,000 feet, nobody else around us except for us. That is a real moment that I don't think a lot of people know about or appreciate, is the flights home from away victories are incredible. Absolutely incredible. Those are good times, man. Really good times. You got people singing. My favorite story is of an offensive lineman, and I won't say his name, but he was asked to sing, right? So if a rookie's asked to sing, like, you got to go sing. So he grabbed the microphone, and he didn't know that the owner's daughter just so happened to be on the team's plane, sitting up in the very front or in the very back. So they kind of have it off. So he kind of got comfortable in his current surrounding and didn't know about the entire surroundings. And he grabbed that thing, and he was not expected to sing a song. I fornicated 2 bad ladies at the same damn time. At the same damn time. At the same damn. And then he started feeling it because a lot of people were like, okay, yeah. Big white guy. Massive white guy. Nobody thought he was going to sing this song. So everybody starts like gassing him up. You know, he's like, I fornicated 2. He starts yelling into this thing. And then all of a sudden you see a little assistant from the front come waltzing back the aisle and grabbing the phone out of his hand. And he's like, what? Like yelling at him while the thing's still on. So now the entire plane hears him yelling at this assistant. And he like puts the phone down, and we're all like, oh no, like no fun. All right. They're like, Carly Ursay's on this plane. We're like, oh. Everybody just puts their headphones on, sits right back down. Just an hour and a half of silence. That kid thought he was getting cut immediately off the plane. And he did. And he did.
I didn't think I could continue to be an FCC-regulated person without really hitting my max potential.
And that's why he's with us. I love it. The Pat McAfee Show on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82.
If you're a business owner, you don't need us to tell you that running a business is tough, dude. Tough, man. Especially when you got bloggers from Detroit coming after you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an all-out assault right now from bloggers on our show because of the Stafford's out of Detroit message that came from Chad Brown, reported by Kevin Kissinger over there in 104.3 The Fan, Denver.
We didn't report it.
I believe that was all accurate what I just said, by the way.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, we got bloggers coming after us. And listen, I got a lot of respect for the blogging game. We get a lot of our information from bloggers.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I feel like bloggers should be the most pumped about us just running with rumors and talking about it, because that's what blogging is.
That's right. Point of the article.
I think they don't fully understand what a daily sports talk show is. That's what we talk about is the rumors. Bunch of stooges
and sellouts.
But you're not a stooge and a sellout if you run your own business. And right now, you know it could be tough. But you might be making it harder on yourself than necessary. Don't let QuickBooks and spreadsheets slow you down no more. It's time to upgrade to NetSuite. Stop paying for multiple systems that don't give you information you need when you need it. Ditch the spreadsheets and all the old software you've outgrown. Now is the time to upgrade to NetSuite by Oracle. NetSuite by Oracle, the world's #1 cloud business system. NetSuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, HR, inventory, e-commerce, and more. Everything you need all in one place instantaneously. Whether you're doing $1 million or hundreds of millions in revenue, save time and money with NetSuite. Join the over 20,000 companies using NetSuite right now. Let NetSuite show you how they'll benefit your business with a free product tour at netsuite.com/Pat. Schedule your free product tour right now at netsuite.com/Pat. 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 Let me tell you about Cincinnati getting screwed over here. This Cincinnati squad, all right? Remind me later, Adobe Flash Player, okay? Get off my ass on my computer here. Early in the season, son of a bitch, they just kicked me out of the thing.
Come on.
Yeah, see, I need NetSuite to take care of that. Okay, I need NetSuite to take care of that. Early in the season, I was doing College Game Day. I was doing College Game Day, which is a pretty big college football show.
Oh, yeah.
And I was asked to give and predict what my college football playoff was going to be. This was before the Big Ten announced it was coming back or whatever. But this was when there was potential leagues going to sit out. This was early in the season. I put Cincinnati in my top 4.
Oh, yeah.
I said they are going to be the college football playoff. I was hoping that since it was on College Game Day, if I was able to potentially spin a narrative early that this is a top 4 team in the country, top 5 team in the country, which, by the way, I couldn't, by the way, it turns out. It turns out I didn't have the juice to do that. They actually, I think they went through my 4 and then they just went, there was no conversation follow-up or anything like that. I think it just kind of went to the next one. But I thought there was a chance that if we had them in the conversation early, that by the end they would be kind of forced. If Cincinnati did what they did, which is run the table, dominate people, by the way, dominate people the entire time, show glimpses of freak athleticism that you would think they'd be able to keep up with some of the Power 5 schools, the top-end schools. And they did all that, by the way, this year. Veteran-led team, older team, mature team, comfortable team, confident team. I thought there was a chance if we put it out there early, the conversation will continue. And it didn't. Conversation kind of disappeared, but then they continue to rattle off wins. I think they have 10 of them or 9 of them, or maybe 11 of them at this point. Not 100% sure. They have a lot of games played. They missed one last week because of a COVID situation, but they've been able to just dominate, win. And they started moving up in the conversation. Started moving up. It was unbelievable. I think they got all the way up to like 6 or 7 or something like that in the whole college football playoff. It was like, okay, that's too low. Not going to be able to make a play to get into the actual college football playoff, but at least they didn't play last week. Other teams lose games. Somehow they move back behind people that have lost games, and they move down to college football playoff. That's a joke. It's a travesty. It's a scam. It's bullshit. That's what I'm going to say. They should have moved up in this whole thing. And let me go through the top 10, okay? You got 1 Alabama. They're going to be tough to stop.
Yeah.
Okay, now, listen, I understand Clemson has Trevor Lawrence, who is a once-in-a-generation type talent, even though Justin Fields might be as well, and Mac Jones might be as well. Trevor Lawrence has been that guy for the longest time. They got ATN, too. They got a lot of weapons, but they did lose the number 2 school, Notre Dame, without Trevor Lawrence, so maybe that changed things. But the defense seems to be susceptible a little bit more this year than they were last year. Ohio State's at number 4, so those are the top 4. I'm not saying Cincinnati could beat any of those teams. All right?
Okay.
Any given Saturday, though.
Yeah.
Any given Saturday, something could happen. Some team could not show up. I mean, Indiana almost beat Ohio State just a couple weeks ago. It did not matter to Ohio State at all, even though they've only played 5 games. Number 5, Texas A&M. If you watch Texas A&M, hey, by the way, Texas A&M, good team. Congrats.
Good year.
Congrats. Only got 1 loss. Good team. I'm not 100% sure, though. That team is one that would just blow Cincinnati. Like, I don't think that's the case. Like, I think Cincinnati could play against Texas A&M. I'm not saying they could beat any of these teams, but I'm saying they could play. I think they could beat Iowa State. Okay,
Yeah.
that is straight. I think they could beat Iowa State because they got a good D line, by the way. And Iowa State's had a great year. Hey, great year. 6 in country. Like, hey, I got nothing but respect for the Cyclones up there. All right, Big 12 representation. But Brees Hall is their guy. Their running back. Cincinnati's got a good D line. Okay, so you take that out of the game. Now all of a sudden we're wondering, is Iowa State's defense going to be able to keep up with Desmond Ridder in that offense that makes plays? I think that's a good matchup for Cincinnati. I think that's a very good matchup for Cincinnati. Iowa State, great team, but I'm just Florida, I think, is going to be tough. Okay, I think Florida might be tough, but Florida can lay an egg every once in a while. They're the same team that their coach will come out at halftime, get the gladiators ready after getting into a fight, and they have players that will throw shoes on their team. But on the flip side, probably whenever you have that type of situation, your team could beat the shit out of probably any. Like they could win, I think, any game if they had to. Florida. Now they haven't, but I think they could. And then 8 Georgia. I think Cincinnati beats Georgia. And I had Georgia, by the way, in the college football playoff. All right. I was a big supporter there early. They were in the same college. Then I saw a mailman play a little bit. I like the mailman. Okay, I don't want to get crazy. Sure. I like the mailman, the post office guy or whatever. But I think Cincinnati would be able to put up a real fight against Georgia. Okay, just because of how athletic Cincinnati is. And then 10 Oklahoma, Cincinnati would beat the fuck out of Oklahoma. Yeah. So like, whenever you talk about the top 10, there's 4 teams in there that we think. Cincinnati, 5 teams we think Cincinnati would be able to beat. And the fact that they dropped down to 9, and then at one point they went to a commercial break and they were outside the top 10 even at one point. I mean, it's just a wild scene. And they have to call it for what it is. This isn't a college football playoff. This is a Power 5 best of. That's all it is. It's not a college football playoff. It's a Power 5 best of. Because just like UCF back in the day, now granted, I think this Cincinnati team beats that UCF team back in the day. UCF fans aren't going to be happy about that, but I think they do. I like the Cincinnati team a lot. Like I think they remind me a lot of the West Virginia team I was on with a lot of athletes on the team. Because the reason why some teams can't keep up with the SEC schools or whatever if you're not in there is because the speed is just so much faster. That's why the NFL is so much harder than college football, because the speed. That Cincinnati team has speed. Like, they have athletes. So I think that's why they can beat some teams. I think Cincinnati beat the UCF squad, but I won't let UCF know back in the day. If I was on game day at the time, I would have been going to bat for you. It just so happens to be Cincinnati's time now, and I think they're getting screwed in this whole thing. But why not go to the 16-team playoff? Why not make it 8 at least? And by the way, maybe they will go to 8. And if they go to 8 and they leave Cincinnati out, I would have to smack some olds in the mouth, I think.
Right in the mouth.
Also, for like going to the playoff, I think they're still planning on doing all the bowl games and everything, but the live gate for that, isn't that how they make a lot of that money?
Yeah.
Like schools that travel to the bowl games and stuff like that, they're not
this
doing
year,
that.
Not doing it. Who
Yeah,
cares?
exactly. So
Who cares?
So what's the point of doing the bowl games then?
Who cares? I don't know. And somebody in the comments section just said, tell them to schedule more Power 5. That's not on them. Power 5 teams won't want to schedule the Cincinnati team. No fucking way. Until Fickle's out of there, then they'll schedule them. Our West Virginia team, we couldn't get games with anybody, basically. We tried. We ended up playing like Western Washington or something a couple times. Because
barn burner.
Oh, man. I don't know if it's Eastern Washington or Western Washington. One of them lost a team. The other one, like, they don't even have a football team anymore. I forget. That was Eastern Washington.
Probably Western. Eastern has the red turf.
Red field.
Yeah,
they're pretty good.
So we might have played the Eastern Washington guy. They had a returner that was like 5'6", 150 pounds or whatever. One of my best tackles I've ever had.
Ooh, lit him up?
Oh, my God. He was a little guy. Poor little guy. Little guy. And that was when I was like 235, 240. Strength and conditioning All-American. No big deal.
How about it?
He used to hang clean, like 365 or something like that. I mean, I used to just get going or whatever. And I caught him mid-jump. And it was,
jeez.
That was all she wrote. That was fourth quarter. We were up like 60 at that point or whatever.
All right, let him through, boys.
Yeah, please. But that is, normally, by the way, when you play a smaller school, that's the difference is the athletes, right? Because, by the way, National Signing Day, sign in Cincinnati. Let's keep staying Cincinnati going. Go to West Virginia, too. I mean, I don't know.
Coastal, maybe.
Do whatever you got to do. Have a good. Hey, congrats to all those kids signing scholarships today, by the way. I didn't know this happened. I guess this is an early signing day, then there's a later signing day.
Yeah, it's normally in February.
Yeah, the first Wednesday of February or something.
I don't know what this one is.
I think it's an early one, I believe. And, we're a sports show. There's a lot of football talk here.
Early bird gets the worm, I think.
That signing day?
Yeah, it's that one, yeah.
Well, I think actually the early ones are probably the kids that think they potentially would get their scholarships pulled from them. So they're going to sign as fast as possible. And then I would assume the later one is where you can poach guys. And if you end up having more scholarships than you thought you were going to have, is that what it is, Diggs?
Yeah, Wednesday, February 3rd this year is National Signing Day. Still trying to figure out what this one is.
Yeah, it's on TV right now. We go out there and it's just on TV or signing day or anything, whatever. Cincinnati's getting screwed, though. I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy about it at all. And I have no say in it, so I think that's why maybe we should just continue to move on. Because next year there's going to be the same story.
Yep.
By the way, before there was the college football playoff, there was just BCS games, and then they deemed which BCS game was the most important one. And then they moved to this college football playoff, and everybody's like, thank God. And everybody's like, this is much better than it was. And then now you got everybody like, we should probably – this has been pretty good, hasn't it? It's been pretty not bad. Hasn't been. Maybe we should do a little bit more. Yeah. You guys will make more money. Hey, you guys will make more money.
Money.
Oh, hey, Monday! Hey. Make sure those players don't get a single dollar more than their goddamn per diem, though.
That's right.
Seriously.
Expand the playoffs.
Let's go to Brooks in Oklahoma. What's going on, Brooks? Cincinnati would beat the fuck out of the Sooners this year.
I'd put it at minus 4.5 Sooners, but I would probably take the money. Put my money on the Bearcats.
I like that a lot. What do you want to talk about, Brooks?
Accurate.
Two things, Pat and the boys. First thing, I'm going to be a little selfish and ask for T's and P's, hashtags, and GoFundMe's to come my way. I'm sad as hell, Pat.
What about?
Well, because I picked you up. I'm a serious guy, so I've been with you for a couple months, and I literally love it more than anything. It makes me get through my day. And now I'm sad because football is almost over, and I don't know what the Pat McAfee show is going to be like in the offseason.
We do
fine. Shitty basketball.
Well, don't you worry about that. We very much know our basketball limitations. That's why we have other people come in. And then if you see the way we talk to Shams, we just berate him. I literally told him, I said, basketball's happening. I asked him, who's going to win? What do I need to know? And then move on. Believe me, we have a way of slithering our way through things, but we also understand, like, hey, you want to see us next football season, have a good offseason, Brooks. Hey, have a good run for a couple months, dude. Don't worry about it.
NFL never sleeps, by the way.
Yeah, there's always drama popping off. Always drama. I mean, this past offseason, we had a show. We went 2 hours, 3 hours live every single day on YouTube before we got on Sirius. We managed.
Yeah.
Zero football.
We managed. And there was nothing going on in the entire world. So, Brooks, if you need to take a break from us, I understand. Happens to all of our family members. And then we'll just see you next football season, Brooks. So T's and P's to that, dude.
Well, I appreciate it. I'll take my chances with you, see what we can do in the off season. But
feel it out. Maybe, feel it out. Maybe first couple weeks, give it a go. Kind of see how it goes, and then if you need to move on, you need to move on. There's other great shows on Sirius, by the way. There's many other great shows. Is that one that we talking about?
Look, Pat, I'm not the type to love you and let you go, only to let you come back so I know how much I love you. I'm not going to play that game, okay? All I know is I'm sticking with it. I'm going to get through it. I don't know what 2021 is going to look like and what kind of messed up rules we got with this world that we're living in and what I got to do, where I can't go, what I can do. But stay with the Pat McAfee show. I'm going to stay with the brand, and we're going to make something of it.
Okay, you're going to regret that, Brooks. There's going to be some days where you regret that. But no, there's others that you'll be like, hey, pretty happy I stuck around. Nice. Let's go to Alex in Indiana. What's going on, Alex?
Hey, Pat, thanks for having me on, man. First off, I want to say thank you for that merchandise I finally got in the mail. Some great stuff, high-quality stuff. I'm really, really proud of it.
When did you buy it? When did you buy it?
About a couple weeks ago. It was the first day of the Friday sale.
Oh, but you did get it. You did get your stuff.
Yeah, I did get it.
Okay. That was a big question mark in the office because most of our orders have not been fulfilled yet in the office. So we did not know how it was going to work. That's a outside operation that happens because although we do have Mitt, who would probably be incredible at doing that, we do not create all of our merch in-house. No. We would like to at some point. We do not do that. So we have to rely on other people. And it turns out quarantine COVID situation has affected it. Yeah. But the fact that you got your shit, boy, that makes me pumped up, Alex. We appreciate that.
Yeah,
still waiting on ours.
Thank you.
Don't hold your breath.
So, question: the court has recently just decided to hear the case regarding student athletes getting compensated for the use of their name, image, and likeness, and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm just curious, what's your opinion? What's your take on the whole situation?
Alex, you know where I'm at. I think they should get paid. I mean, it's too large of a piece of a pie at this point for people to ignore. I think the entire wave, PR-wise, has come to the side of the players should see a little bit of the profit that the overall product makes. And now they're going to talk about how, there's a lot of places that operate in the red, 90% of blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, that's not the players' fault that are generating capital for other people at a massive, alarming rate. And you also see how a lot of schools and universities use the money that they make from sports and they invest it back into the facilities on their campus, which, by the way, cool. Build your campus up. But whenever you drive through and you're like, oh, this is our new $500 million building. This is a $50 million upgrade we did to this. This is $6 million. And then you see their papers at the end. They're like, we made no profit. It's like, what? We don't talk about the state-of-the-art fucking $500 million building as a profit. I guess you can rule that out. So there's ways to manipulate the money and the finances. So whenever you hear people come out and say, a lot of people aren't making profit, it's like, well, let's talk about their spend then as well. And I don't even know if there's an easy way to accomplish paying each player because that's going to be difficult. I think the name, image, and likeness thing is the best step forward. Now, there's going to be schools that take advantage of that. There's going to be places that have more sponsors and more people behind them, boosters, that are going to have autograph signings at their business and pay more money. That's going to happen. And people are going to say that's going to be a recruiting violation. That's going to benefit other people. But there's motherfucking teams that they're on national television every single weekend. They have full documentaries showcasing their entire facility and everything. There's recruiting advantages already built into place. Having some players make some money off their own names that they build is not going to hurt that. The whole paying of players is going to be difficult. Somebody's with a much bigger brain than me is going to have to figure that out. But guys being able to make money off of their name, I think, is something that is the great first step, and then hopefully that'll go somewhere else. But the name, image, likeness thing is something I'm very for at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense.
Well, back in the day, you could be against it. You very openly could be against it, and people would be like, "Yeah, I understand. It's love of the game. What's the difference between college football and NFL football if college players are getting paid or college basketball players are getting paid in the NBA?" It's like, well, there is no difference actually, because they're both generating incredible, copious amounts of money for other people. It is a professional sport, and anybody that says it isn't is just refusing to look at the facts at this point. And I think PR-wise, it's kind of turned around. I understand that there's places that don't make as much money. And by the way, then the name, image, likeness probably not making as much money either.
Yeah.
I just feel like the players should be able to profit off of something that they built. And that is strictly off of my experience watching Pat White and Steve Slayton build West Virginia University, build up their locker room, their facilities. The campus got built up. People got rich. Coaches got rich. Everybody seemed to get rich. And then Pat took a massive shot against Pittsburgh Steelers. His NFL career was cut short. Steve Slayton got hurt. His career was cut short. And really, those guys should be owning the University of West Virginia or West Virginia University at this point.
Well, especially, too, when you look at, they're on scholarship, but, half these kids come from situations where it's like
Hold on.
You do need to.
Yes.
You need that money to live and
more
get
than half.
by.
More than half, by the way.
Yeah.
More than half. The situations. I think you're turning a blind eye if you don't understand that a lot of the players that you see in college are coming from places that aren't fantastic. Okay, a lot of players are, and whenever they get something and they give it to their family, whether it's an apartment or a car or something, it's like, well, that player's terrible. Kick him out of here forever. It's like, all right, is that really the right move to be made here? I just think there has to be a reasonable, logical answer to this entire thing, and I think the name, image, likeness, and I've said this a few times, is a great move. I think that is a great move. It kind of takes the schools out of it. They don't have to if the player wants to turn into a social media person that's going to make money off his social posts, let him do it. If he's going to do autograph signings, let him do it. But allow them the opportunity to do that instead of automatically assuming that what they're doing, they should be banned forever. That's just, it's stupid. But it's a turning of a tide. And there's a lot more money now than there was before. So I understand people that felt like this in the past maybe because there wasn't as much billions and billions of television contracts were made. I mean, schools are making money. I mean, what was it, 50-some million the Big Ten Network was paying every single. I mean, there's just so much money out there, and I understand you got to pay for sports that don't make money and all that, but at least let the players profit a little bit off of what they've been able to build. And there's also the adage that without the schools, the players are nothing. It's like, well, I can agree with that. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens with Jackson State down there, right? We'll see what with Deion Sanders, who's signing some big time. That school is not in the problem. I'll be excited to see how much money they make down there. But it's one of those things where I think for a long time I've obviously felt that way, but I was also a former student human athlete. So you're probably going to get that take from me and people like me 99 times out of 100.
Well, and NCAA basketball will die if the G League can pay these guys who are coming out of high school hundreds of thousands of dollars in contracts. I mean, what's the point of going
to
play for a school for a year when you can get $500,000 from the Phoenix Suns?
By the way, that would be absolutely awesome if that happens. Into shoe deals that could happen and everything like that. But they're not getting that one semester of valuable education.
Oh.
And then when you talk about the scholarships, like, well, I'm in debt forever. It's like, by the way, sucks. I don't like that for you either. I think Aaron and I talked about that. So the scholarship is not having to pay for school or whatever. But if you're an actual student human athlete, if you're able to accomplish something that is a degree that is worth a single fuck of having, that could potentially be worth what you're paying for your school, you're a superhuman. It is very difficult to do. I couldn't do it. Now, granted, I assume that that's because my will wouldn't let me do it, but that's a big part of it. Whenever you're working, you got a 6:30 a.m. lift, then you got classes allegedly, then you got practice, then you got a mandatory study hall, then you got this, and then put that on repeat 365, by the way, because you're going there in summer. So normally you're going to see a lot of guys not take, and girls, not take real difficult majors, which, by the way, a lot of college students don't. And those students will never be able to make the money back that they would have paid. Same thing with football. For a lot of guys, if they don't make it to the NFL, they're not going to be doing anything that warrants any type of anything. A lot of guys, not all guys. There's a lot of guys. That's why I think athletes should be able to take like life classes. I think that whenever you're an athlete coming from a school that probably didn't really care about your education much, or maybe didn't have the highest grades in how they teach guys, which is where a lot of guys come from, a lot of public schooling. Now, granted, I went to a public school, and although there were some questionable decisions made by teachers, it wasn't like I was upset about but there's a lot of schools, I think, if we open around the country that probably aren't teaching kids the best stuff. And then whenever you get to college and you're on scholarship and you're potentially going to go do something, I think that could be an opportunity where you teach people taxes and, like handling, maybe social media is even in there, handling people, handling conversations with people. Like that would be a much more worthy, I think, degree for a lot of players, because us going through all the bullshit Frisbee classes and everything like that, it's like, do I really need that? No, we're not. I don't need a Frisbee class. Now, granted, my forehand really brought me down in that whole thing. But I think the entire college thing should be rethought of. And I like the fact that players can make money now, though.
Wouldn't you say most guys who are getting those like high-end degrees, like they're not playing in the NFL that long anyway, like they're eventually going to go do that job full time?
Yeah, and it's incredible that they're able to accomplish that, by the way. My roommate, Reed Williams, was academic All-American, blew out his shoulder, would have been a great NFL linebacker. He has like 4 degrees or something like that. It made no sense.
Dr. Myron Roll.
Yeah, Dr. Myron Roll. Also, Dr. the guy
Laverne Duvernay.
Laverne Duvernay, saving lives right now instead of playing. Yeah, but I think the college system's all going to be set back up. And everybody's like, well, they're on scholarship. And it's like, well, who set the price of how much a semester costs?
Yeah.
Somebody that's full of shit, by the way. I think your anger should not be with the student athletes that get the scholarship. It should be with the schools that are fucking people over.
Especially all those kids who are paying out-of-state tuition at most places if they were to not be on scholarship and twice as much.
My Frisbee class was awesome, dude. It was awesome.
Dynamic.
I couldn't do the forehand. Still can't do it.
Difficult.
Still can't do
It's all
it.
with the fall through.
I got a pretty good backhand, but the forehand I just couldn't get. Got a C.
It's tough.
Got a C.
Stay low. Stay low with it.
I got a C. Yeah, Zito's a big time.
That's
I
also
love
bullshit.
frothing.
What's that?
You take one of those classes and they try to tank your GPA, give you a C in it. Jesus.
Well, I couldn't do the fucking forehand, dude.
Forehand's a
Hey,
big
stern
part.
but fair, they say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, this Frisbee class can be stern but fair.
40% of your grade is the forehand,
He
right?
told, yeah, it felt like it. He, the teacher told me, hey, listen, I'm not going to do like attendance, but you have to be here for the tests. And I was like, I can figure out all these throws.
Sure.
But I just got to be an athlete here. So I showed up to the first couple of tests. I was just like, dominate. Good huck. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Good long ball I had. I could make the thing move a little bit. But boy, when I showed up for that forehand exam, I should have went to a couple classes probably.
It's such a funny statement when I showed up to the forehand.
It was like week 3 or week 4, dude.
YouTube tutorial.
What are you laughing at, bro?
No, yeah.
What do you think the forehand exam was just some laughing matter?
I will tell you this. Can we go back and maybe get you a C to an A?
A what?
Can we go back and get you a C to an A for that class?
I think it's going to be difficult strictly because you're not going to get me to get put in effort. That's going to be
No, one class. It's like Billy Madison when he went back and did all things.
Oh, man. By the way, we should do that.
Be
Probably
fun.
with Mitt.
Oh,
yeah.
Probably put
Spell
him
If we know
rock,
anything about
man.
Mitt, he probably graduated from college 4 years ago. Just not telling us.
R-O-C-K. Yeah, he probably did already.
He might have.
Burr. Let's go to Jason in Iowa. What's going on, Jason?
Hey, Pat and the boys, how we doing today?
You know, today there's really not much to talk about, so we went on some tangents. I think we solved some world problems. We talked about some things, and we stirred up a lot of shit with Detroit bloggers. So not a bad day. How about you, Jason?
I'll just, in air quotes, working in my my home office right now, listening to you guys. So,
We appreciate you, man.
yeah, absolutely. Hey, big fan. Found you guys here at the beginning of this pandemic, and man, you guys make the day go by so much better. I tweet you guys like about every Saturday when I'm sitting in my garage watching my big screen, and
projector
love
guy.
to interact with you guys. It's awesome.
I don't see this. I feel like I see
Always
everything.
watching the Hawks on Saturday.
Go Hawks, dude. Go Hawks, Jason.
Go Hawks. Go Hawks. I sent you guys some good Iowa steaks out to the office there, too.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
Yes.
so I do know you then. I don't see the projector. He probably doesn't tag me in that, but I did the Iowa Steaks. I did give that
How big is that projector?
It's a 120-inch screen.
Holy shit. Go Hawks.
Go Hawks, baby.
Go
Guys
Hawks.
kind of getting fucked out of the Big Ten championship, by the way.
No kidding.
And they can't even play on Saturday against Michigan because Michigan stinks.
Well, I do believe Michigan was the exact school I was talking about earlier with the let's lose one
Parties
game.
downstairs.
Yeah, the parties downstairs. That's
Get
what I
a
was
little
referring to.
bigger.
Which, by the way, can't blame them.
Nah.
Cannot blame them. After you lose a certain amount of games, and that thing's good. Mail it in, boys. This year doesn't even count. We're going to be the same exact year we were this year, next year. So let's go downstairs and see what these other billionaires are doing.
Trust fund hunting.
Hey, by the way, Michigan.
Hey, basketball's got #1 Gonzaga on Saturday, so here we go.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Well, you guys is basketball?
Yeah.
Nobody cares, Jason. Do you watch basketball in the projector?
Absolutely.
He's smart.
Listen, I understand Iowa's a basketball school.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That Luka guy's an Instagram model.
He's
We're
unreal.
watching anything on it.
What are you watching The Crown on there on Netflix, dude?
You know what? My wife is hooked on that show. I haven't yet to watch it, but she is hooked.
My wife was also hooked on that show, and she automatically assumed that I would hate it because, kind of slow, about royalty shit.
Political.
Basically everything I'm kind of against. But as this quarantine has kind of wore us down, there isn't really much else to watch, so I got into it. It's awesome. You should watch it on that big-ass projector because then you'll see the big queen being a badass bitch in numerous situations.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for your call, Jason. Thank you for the steaks. I got no batteries, by the way. Look at this. These are all dead. All these batteries are dead. Some guy tweeted me that, you know what I mean?
Those are all dead?
All dead, all of them.
Jeez.
All of them been used, dude. Dead.
200 batteries?
Dead.
Jeez.
Oh, this one's new.
Hold the phone.
Come on.
Bingo. There we go.
Hour 2's wrapping up here. In the next hour, we got Dane Orshlovsky.
Whoa!
He'll talk to us about the NFL and everything he's got going on. He's all back on the Josh Allen train, I assume?
Yep, big time.
He disappeared for a while.
He did.
Unhitch the wagon.
The Josh Allen train was too early, which, by the way, love Josh Allen. Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Unbelievable.
Dominique Foxworth hates him. But friend of the show. Friend of the show. He was in the MVP conversation early. And Dan Orlovsky came out and said, hey, this guy's my MVP. Over Aaron Rodgers, over Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen's my MVP. And he got a lot of, cheap pop out of that.
He did.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bills Mafia went ham on his Twitter. Was like, this is our guy, Dane Orlovsky. Finally, we got a guy. And by the way, as things started turning south, Dan had turned misdirect or whatever, but he was the first person to say Josh Allen MVP. And Josh Allen, here we are going into week 15, is in the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
And this guy, whenever he breaks down football, does it in such a beautiful fashion. He doesn't piss off anybody.
No.
Not me.
I love Dan. This is one of my favorite people to talk to on this show. One of my favorite people to talk to because he has a wealth of knowledge. He knows what he's talking about. Every take he's going to give is well thought out, even if it's dumb as shit. And we will tell him that. It is well thought out. Remember, Jordan Love, first round, not a bad pick, he says.
Yeah.
Even though could have got somebody else, no big deal. Don't need it, he says. So I can't wait for Dane Orlovsky. Also, AJ Hawk. Ooh. He'll be joining us. Probably some more phone calls like this one from Colby in South Carolina. What's going on, Colby?
Hey, what's going on? Pat McAfee, baby!
Hey, I like your energy, Colby. What do you want to talk about, pal?
Yes, sir. I just love the podcast. Talk to you boys. How about them Pittsburgh Steelers down there? They can't even fucking catch syphilis if they was in a whorehouse. What's up with the wide receivers, bud?
Whoa. I mean, straight with a fastball there.
Yeah.
Whoa. Old school fastball. I don't even know if there are. That's an old school fastball right there. Shout out to Colby. He's saying that they're dropping the balls over there. Is that something you can just fix, Diggs? Because if not, Ben Roethlisberger might retire next week.
Yeah, it's something you can fix. They talked about it actually a lot today. They're just in a little bit of lull, and Ben said they got a lot of time left in the season. We'll be fine.
Oh, Ben was retiring 2 days ago. Now he's saying there's a lot of time left. That's wild.
That's Ben. That's classic Ben.
Let's go to one more phone call here before we get to a break. Let's go to Jamie over there in St. Louis. M-I, crooked letter, O-U-R-I.
Oh, turn the radio down.
Turn us down.
What do you want to talk about?
question. I want to see if you remembered. I'm a huge Packers fan. I'm an owner, just like my boy Ty in there. I want to see if you could remember 2018 season opener NFL. Packers go down by about 20 points at half. Rodgers against the Bears. Rodgers leaves at half. The knee injury and comes back.
Yeah, I remember it. It was like Aaron Rodgers coming out of the goddamn cave like he was Jesus Christ and getting a big win. Hour 2's wrapping up. Dana Orlovsky's on the other side.
This is Remember the Titans. How's it going? My name is Pat McAfee. I do a lot of things. Today I am a professional analyst getting ready for the Thursday night football opener in beautiful Nippert Stadium with the Cincinnati Bearcats here at Higher Ground. This secluded world. Good squad, good place, excited for this morning practice. I'm obviously unbiased, but I'm pulling hard for Cincinnati to do well on Thursday night.
I like to say, all-in clipboard quarterback, man.
This is awesome.
And we got hopefully a future NFL kicker. Let's see what you got. Come on.
This is great for the brand. This guy's an athlete. Athlete.
Hey, let's go. Let's go. Hey, goodness. They say kickers are athletes. We'll find out. Let's go.
Pull it up. Heads up. Hey, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the hospitality. Have a great day. Let's go get away. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
I'ma close the case. I can't wait no more, man. I gotta blow today. I'ma blow today. I ain't hearing what they say. Need a blue face. I've been caring about the race. I've been trying to eat. I need more than just a taste. Now they trying to talk. Oh no, they should know their place. Man, I'm ballin'. This ain't cap, baby. Now I feel like calling. From the O, but I got the music poppin'. All the time, man, it started to get obnoxious. Now I gotta drive, yeah, I'm feeling nauseous. Gotta drive top down, then I hop out. I've been feeling hot now.
It's been a good point.
Thank you.
I'll catch up with you after.
Yeah, you got it.
Appreciate you coming.
Thank you. This has been so cool to see. Whenever we were driving out here into the sticks, my boys and I from Indianapolis, we were told by Coach Fickle it was a 40-minute drive from where we live. Absolute lie, hour and a half out here. But as we were getting out here, we didn't know what we were going to show up to. And this is such a cool scene here. I remember whenever I was in college, we won a lot of games, beat Cincinnati a couple times. It was a great day. But I remember my boys, right? Like I still am in touch with them every single day, every single week. We had this moment where we went from boys to become men. And you guys were a really young team last year, but got to experience a lot of wins. Like now the expectation level are high. And I can't wait to talk you all up on Thursday night against UCLA. UCLA refused to respond to my tweet. So I am a Bearcat fan on that opening night, and I cannot wait to watch you guys dominate. And I think this is such a cool thing. Coach, I can't thank you enough for your hospitality. I got a bunch of swag from you guys, too. This has been a cool day. Enjoy this, though. This doesn't happen a lot. Even when you get into the NFL, it's not like college. It's not like your boys. It's not like this. It's a whole different world that you'll remember forever, and I was honored to be here to watch you today, and I can't wait to watch you guys go win the thing on Thursday night and then throughout the rest of the season. Thank you so much. Cheers, boys. Thank you.
Hey, 1, 2, 3.
Couple people, one college kid, took a shot at my swag.
We noticed. We know. We don't like that kid.
I don't think a lot of people understand what swag is. You know, some of this younger generation thinks, you know, swag is just like the clothes I wear or whatever. No. The swag is a mentality. Yeah. Swag is a mindset. I try to tell this to some of the guys in the locker room this week. I said swagger, which is what swag comes from. Swagger is a mindset. Swagger isn't that you have a Supreme backpack on. Or that you have your shoes, unlaced walking around with, you got your new Louis fanny pack that you make sure it's not worn at your waist, it's worn over your shoulder. That's not swag. That's not swagger. That's fashion choices. True swag is owning your inner essence. It's a mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And my essence on the field is that I feel like I'm a throwback player and I'm a tough guy. What I've played through, how I wear my stuff, I'm kind of a no-nonsense, straightforward. To me, that's what swag is all about.
You're damn
all
right.
this fake swag out there. I got my special towel. I got this. I got that. I got this writing out there. A lot of you guys are just posers.
All right.
You do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
Welcome back. Hour 3 on this Wednesday, December 16th. Joining us now is a college football champion and a Super Bowl champion, Mr. AJ Hawk. AJ, Cincinnati's getting screwed. Your boy Fickle's getting screwed. Anything you'd like to say about it?
I mean, yeah, I agree with you 100%. They are getting screwed, but that's kind of how the system is right now.
That's just how it is, you said?
Well, yeah, I mean, we go off so much of what people have done in the past and like the success that they have had in the last 5-10 years, I guess.
Well, AJ, Ohio State's getting in with 3 games played or something like that.
Basically.
So I mean, that's just how it is, I guess. That's just how it goes or whatever. Yeah, you look great today, by the way.
Yeah.
Do I?
Yeah, you look unbelievable. It's like good sweater in front
insane.
of. I mean, you look.
You shaved? Do you have a dinner tonight?
Yeah, this.
I feel very old right now in this. I got this thing at Target when I went to Chicago a couple weeks ago to do this. I spilled a whole cup of coffee on myself right when I got my rental car.
Well, you look very professional. It was a good purchase. Sometimes those are the best buys. Also joining us is a man who's on ESPN NFL Live every single day. He calls college games, has a wealth of knowledge. I would assume he's being asked to coach in the NFL daily at this point. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, former quarterback Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah!
Hey, boy, Dane!
Really appreciate you saying both of my names there. The actual one that's on my birth certificate and then the one that I get in social media all the time now.
Yeah. Well, you're talking about Dane Orlovsky. There he is. Yeah. There's Dane Orlovsky. Hey, Dan.
You had you, John. So legit 20 times a day, Dane Orlovsky comes across my social media mentions, dude.
Let's put an end to that. Hey, no more. No more.
Stop. Knock it off. The power of Pat McAfee.
No. It's not us. I mean, we got a great group of people that follow us. We have no idea why, but we appreciate them. But I think we're all going to take a vote. No more Dane Orlovsky, right? No more Dane Orlovsky. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. No more Dane Orlovsky. Hey, Dan, we're just talking about college football there. We'll get into the NFL because, that's where your bread is buttered for real with the brain thing. But you get to call college games every single week. Cincinnati's getting absolutely screwed. Would like to know why you at ESPN will not speak up about it.
Oh, I haven't watched Cincinnati this year, so I can't tell you like the quality of team that they are.
They're good.
Yeah, I think that they're good. I think that they would get curb stomped by a team like Alabama.
Every team's going to get curb stomped by Alabama next.
Nah, well, I think they would get curb stomped by Clemson.
Okay, well, all right,
maybe.
All right, way to go. Okay, those two. Go ahead, keep it going.
So I mean, if we're talking the college football playoff, we're not talking like the top 10 teams. So that's 50% of those 4 that are going to get in. Are you going to tell me that you think that they're going to hang with like a Notre Dame or a Ohio State? Because I've seen Ohio State and I've watched them live, and they are for real.
Okay, all right. Just real quick, you think Cincinnati can hang with Indiana?
Not if Penix was.
Oh,
healthy,
get the
no.
fuck out of here. You haven't even seen Cincinnati. So this is what ESPN does, by the way. You haven't even watched them, and here you go. Here you go on an entire thing.
I've seen Indiana, and they are for real.
I agree.
Cincy would hang with Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
UNC hung with Notre Dame.
Notre Dame, I believe. And listen, we love Indiana. We love Notre Dame, okay? We're just saying Cincinnati deserves some damn respect. I think go ahead.
But what more do you want respect-wise for them? Like, are you saying that you want them to have the respect of the College Football Playoff Committee and put them in 4?
Yes.
Or do you want the respect of college football and put them in the top 10? What respect are you asking for?
I want them at 5. I want them at 5. That's where I want them at.
So you think that they are a better football team than Texas A&M or Florida?
Well, see what you just did there. You see what you have done here is you've kind of nitpicked the entire. Like we agreed very heavily that we think Florida would potentially beat the hell out. But Texas A&M, I think Cincinnati gives them a game. Yep. I think it gives them a game. I do.
To Texas A&M?
I do. Yeah. Let me tell you why. The Cincinnati team has athletes. It's like our West Virginia back in the day. Everybody thought our West Virginia team would get killed because we wouldn't be able to keep up speed-wise with the big schools or whatever, and we did, and we won, and we kept it moving. This Cincinnati team reminds me of our team. Now, granted, Alabama, I don't think so. Alabama, I think they're going to beat everybody by a lot, by the way, because I think Mac Jones and Sarkisian's offense is unbelievable, and the defense is really good. Clemson's Clemson. Without Trevor Lawrence, it was tough to judge them. Now he's back. They're a whole different team. But whatever you talk about some of those other teams, Texas A&M, Georgia, I think Cincinnati beats Georgia, by the way. Go ahead and put that one down. Not every year. This year, I think they do with the moment.
Texas A&M's defense is as fast as I've seen a college defense have in 2 or 3 years.
You haven't seen the Cincinnati's defense. Hey, somebody's at your door telling you need to stop talking about things you haven't seen. You haven't seen Cincinnati's team play. You actually said that.
Have you seen Texas A&M play?
Yes, I have. I saw them steal wins from people, by the way. By the way, doesn't matter how you win. They steal wins, though. Texas A&M does.
Dude, their defense is a head and shoulders above a Cincinnati offense.
You haven't seen Cincinnati.
Come on.
You have not seen
I haven't studied Cincinnati. I did not have their game. I haven't studied.
So everything you just said was just. Let's talk about what you have studied. The NFL, okay? And AJ and I got questions. The boys do too. Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Dan, you were very early on the Josh Allen's the MVP of the NFL train. I think your exact quote was, he's better than Aaron Rodgers. He's better than Patrick Mahomes. He might be better than Peyton Manning if Peyton Manning was still playing right now. That's what you said early. He kind of disappeared. The Dan wagon went elsewhere. Now he is reemerging back in there. That has to be a little bit of a sense of feel good for Dan Orlovsky there.
Yeah, he's went full Undertaker mode after that 3-week kind of vacation from the top of the rankings. Just to clarify, I never said he was better than any of those previous players that you mentioned.
Chad Brown.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Chatty Brown.
But I'm sorry, you're right. You didn't.
I think it's probably a 2-man race right now for the MVP. With 12 and 15. But Josh is playing really good. I think his offensive coordinator will be a head coach next year, Dable. I think the greatest thing for Josh is the brain is caught up with the talent. His physical talent is absolutely out of this world, but his brain is kind of catching up, and he's playing quarterback now than just throwing the ball. So that's a tough team. I said 7 weeks ago is the only team I thought that could beat the Chiefs, and I still feel that way. I don't think they will, but I think it's the only team that can.
Hey, Dane, where do you think Carson Wentz plays next year?
I hate the fact that you call me Dane right there. I like playing the game of the unrealistic stuff. I don't. Let's say he can't be in Philly. I know the money and the picks and all that stuff. I could 100% see him in Indy at the top of the list. I know that would tick McAfee off. A lot of people think. Listen, a lot of people think that there's a lot of a built-up animosity between him and that organization in Philly. I think a lot of people think that he misses Frank Reich as a human more than just a play caller. I think a lot of people feel that Carson Wentz feels betrayed, and the only person in the NFL that he trusts is Frank Reich. So, I think he would try to get there if they were going to move on from Phillip. I could see San Francisco. I could see Pittsburgh. I could see
Pittsburgh.
Detroit.
Coming to town.
Those are probably the top 4 teams.
Let's talk about Detroit then. Chad Brown reported this morning on 104.3 The Fan in Denver that Kevin Kissinger said that Chad Brown reported that Detroit is moving on from Stafford, okay? So that means he would have to have an in with the Ford family if he is saying that he's hearing that, because I believe those are the only people making decisions at this point. What do you think is a realistic future for Matthew Stafford as a guy who knows Matthew Stafford, knows the Lions organization, and who do you think will be the be calling the shots over there moving forward?
Yeah, 100% the Lions need to move on from Stafford.
Okay, the Detroit bloggers that was Dan Orlovsky that just said that to the Detroit bloggers that are coming after us for reporting what Chad Brown said. So.
Dude, it's time. It's time. He was there for 12 years. It didn't work. It didn't not work because the quarterback, it just didn't work. Like, they have to move on. He has to move on. They got to blow it all up and start over again. You know, this is not a team that, is a top 5 draft pick away from making a run. Like, they got some holes to fill. So Stafford needs to be moved. He needs to move on for the rest of his career. Who do I think will be calling the shots? I would look really hard at Robert Saleh as a head coach, me personally. I think we've fallen in love with just X's and O's at head coaching in the NFL, and it's created a lot of issues. You got to have a lot more than just that. I also think if I was hiring a head coach, I want him to be attached in some capacity to the Mike Shanahan offensive philosophy. And Robert Saleh's bringing Matt LaFleur's brother as an offensive coordinator. I think that's the likely guy that he would choose. And I want that offense in the NFL right now. So that's who I would, lean on as head coach. Where do I think Stafford would go?
Indy.
I think a lot of the teams that I just named, but I also believe that if Arthur Smith, who's the Titans offensive coordinator, goes somewhere, wherever he goes, I could see Matthew Stafford going.
What about, so when you talk about these X's and O's, we fall in love with X's and O's. What does that mean? Like, what kind of problems has that created? I know Michael Lombardi talks about that. Like, we're hiring play callers and not coaches. Like, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, because everyone fell in love with Sean McVay. And I think he's one of the brightest X's and O's minds in football. I was with Sean. He's exponentially better at, like, leadership, people skills, organizing, foresight, flexibility, laying out exactly what a player needs to succeed, vision. Like, I think that we lost sight of how important accountability, transparency, like we lost sight of that as a league in some aspects, that's the most important attributes of a coach. Now, if he's really good with X's and O's, then he becomes a unicorn. Like, then he becomes one of the top 5, 6, 7 guys in the league at what he does. But if he's just really good at X's and O's, but doesn't have the ability to have accountability and transparency and foresight, and he doesn't have great people skills, and he can't see the game 3 or 4 steps ahead, both when it comes to X's and O's, but his football team, then he's going to fail as a head coach in the long run. And I think that, like, guys like Mike Vrabel and Mike Tomlin and Andy Reid, those guys were capable with that skill set, and then also were really good with the X's and O's.
Now, it was rumored last year, and nothing got confirmed, that your name was up for a coaching gig or two. Louis Riddick is now interviewing with the Texans today. I'll let Chris Mortensen, and then the Lions on Friday or whatever. Is ESPN, do you guys just, like, whenever you guys are sitting in the green room eating your kale salads or whatever you guys are doing, do you guys just, like, talk to each other about how we're going to go on and coach and GM somewhere? Is that just something that happens naturally? Or why is that? Because you saw Mayock, you saw Gruden, you see a lot of TV people kind of go in there. Is that a dream of yours? And is that something that is known whenever you guys are talking behind the scenes?
Yeah, it's something that's always on my mind. I don't know if it's a dream. I think it'd be cool to be a general manager one day. I think that'd be a lot of fun to have your fingerprint all over an organization. I think being a coach would be amazing as well. I think that's always in my mind. Dude, I don't know, like, you go from playing, and then a lot of times the people that go into television are ex-players. And then when they get maybe tired of television, when they crave the competition, they crave the being part of a team and the camaraderie, they might start to, the interest of being in a coach or a front office person might start to gear up as well. So I think that a lot of guys just miss the locker room and kind of the feeling of being a part of something. That's why they leave television.
Hey, if you were the head coach, Dan, would you call the offensive plays?
I'd have to be like look at myself in the mirror and feel like if I was doing myself a disservice, like doing our team a disservice, I wouldn't. You know, like if I felt like I could own our football team when it came to like doing my job and kind of, you know, doing the process of being their head coach and leader, I would do it. It had to be dependent on who my defensive coordinator was. Like if I had a defensive coordinator I thought was really good, I would lean more towards it. But initially, probably not.
That's a shame. Because if I'm head coach, I'm calling plays. I never played offense in my life.
Hell yeah.
What do you got, Connor?
Dan, I haven't said anything disparaging about you in quite some time, actually, since you've been on the show last, so just want to clear that up. And also, who's going to play quarterback for the Patriots next year?
Oh, I really appreciate that, man.
No problem. I didn't even call you the other name, Dane Orshlovsky. I didn't even call you that.
Come on. That was very nice of you.
Did you start that? Was that?
No. I'm not. No, I can't create something that cool.
No, the internet.
Yeah.
Somebody.
Can you verify that you haven't said anything disparaging?
Yeah. I got receipts. Yeah, I got receipts.
Appreciate that, bud.
Boner Garage traded Dane Orshlovsky, by the way. Boner Garage.
420.
I'll give you a bunch of options.
Well, we don't need that, Dane.
No, I just want to know who the one guy's going to be.
Yeah, we need who you think is going to be there.
I'm looking at a bunch of teams right now.
Just
Give me
say
a second,
Stafford.
Patrick.
Do your research.
I think that the Patriots are going to draft Zach Wilson out of BYU.
Wow. Come on. We talked about him just yesterday. Aaron's a big fan of his. Aaron Rodgers is a big fan of his, even though the kid took a shot at his swag or whatever. It feels like a lot of people like him. Did you watch him in that Coastal Carolina game? You still
I don't think he played great. I don't think he played great, but dude, like Coastal Carolina does a lot of weird stuff, and you only got 2 days to prepare for it. Like you that's hard on a quarterback. I can imagine like going have to play against like a guy like Rex Ryan in 2 days. You'd be all over the world. So I just know he's custom made to play quarterback in the NFL right now.
What's going on in your house right now, man? All hell breaking loose out
Just
there?
an average afternoon, man. This is what happens when you got 4 kids.
So whenever you're in your office, I guess is where you do your ESPN hits, you got dress up on top, shorts on the bottom, and then as soon as you leave that room, all hell breaks loose in the house, and then you just go back in.
I actually did a Sports Center hit today in a girdle because I went right from there to working out. Got a full body workout in today, bud.
Oh, wow.
That's 30-minute sweat session.
Hey, no big deal. How you doing? Keep it moving. Also, probably to stay away from the kids for a little bit longer. Diggs, what do you got?
Dan, are you a Taysom Hill guy or a Jameis Winston guy?
Here we go.
Fudge, dude.
Smooth, by the way, somehow.
Like
fudge, dude.
Probably a Jameis Winston guy right now. Taysom Hill. I've seen enough of Taysom Hill. Like I've seen enough flat routes go to the receiver's feet. Like, I think he's a nice player and he does a lot. But like at some point, for you to be the quarterback of the 2 seed of the playoffs, or for me to think that you're a bona fide option next year, like we got to get better throwing the football. So I think that Jameis should be very, very much so ready early on in this football game this weekend.
They're paying him $16 million next year. Taysom, you think he just goes back to his role as a guy that just does everything? And then do you think Taysom or Jameis are going to definitely be the answer next year? Or do you think Sean Payton's legitimately using time right now to see whether or not Taysom Hill is that Steve Young guy? Because 2 weeks ago in his third game, or last week, I guess, in his third game starting, he looked like an NFL quarterback. He was getting back. The ball was getting out on time. He was throwing it into tight windows, realizing that that's what open is in the NFL. And then this past week, it looks like he went backwards again. I feel like I have no idea if Taysom Hill is a good quarterback or not. Like I assume he's a bad quarterback, but he had moments of greatness there too, where you're like, can you judge him when he only has this amount of time? I guess you have to if you're Sean Payton.
Yeah, I mean, they're in a bad spot next year anyway with their cap. They're like $80 million on like over the cap. They're negative 77 or something. So, that brings into the conversation of, they're a team that I could see, getting a young quarterback or one of these guys that, like a Sam Darnold that'll be moved on from.
Ooh.
So,
Matty Stafford. They won't be able to afford him.
I don't know. Like if you got to, here's my thing with, because I'll answer the Saints question first. Like, there's nothing that Taysom has done that tells you yes, he's the quarterback of the future. I don't know if you're ready to say no. Like, you still need more of a body of work, but there's nothing that you could point to and say absolutely. And Jameis hasn't played. He hasn't played, and so you have no idea if he's actually grown under Sean Payton. I think teams like here's where I am, because I throw the Saints in this. Like the Saints, the Steelers, the Bears. Like, dude, they're gonna have a pick somewhere between 20 and 30. If you want a quarterback, do you feel better throwing that first round pick at like Mac Jones, or do you in Kyle Trask, or do you feel better getting Sam Darnold for it? That's where I stand on that.
Definitely Kyle Trask or Mac Jones over Sam Darnold. But whenever you're talking about potential, what's that, dude? Your eyes just got really big when I said that.
There's no way that you're giving a first round pick for Mac Jones and Kyle Trask over Sam Darnold.
Yeah, I just think he stinks.
Well, there's a way.
Yeah, you're wrong.
I'm wrong?
Yeah. What makes you think he stinks, Pat?
I have no
Because
idea.
he struggled for Adam Gase?
Yeah, I just
Wrong
said
line.
it. I just said it because you like him. So I said it strictly to do that. I know nothing about him. I try not to watch any Jets games. It's better for my overall health and everything like that.
you.
But it is. I do feel like Sam Darnold has not gotten a fair shake, especially if you see how Tannehill has played out and all that stuff. But I thought I could get you going a little bit there. What's up, Ty?
Dan, when you look at the Bucs, them coming off a bye, they kind of looked. I mean, they didn't look great. Are they a threat going forward in the NFC, do you think, or is it basically just the Packers' time to win that next Lombardi for Raj?
Yeah, not a threat right now. They looked exactly the same as before their bye week. Everyone has gone like, oh, they used motion at a higher percentage. This is why sometimes I want to fist fight numbers people. All due respect to the numbers people.
All due respect.
Because they're like, they upped their pre-snap motion by 10%. Yes, guys, they snapped the ball 48 times. So if they ran 4 more motion plays in that game, there you go.
Quick math.
Everything's
Checks out.
hard for their offense. Like, everything is hard. There's nothing easy. I can't put them above Green Bay, New Orleans, Seattle. There's another team in there.
Rams.
Green Bay, New Orleans.
Rams.
Who?
Rams.
Yeah, I can't put them above those 4. Honestly, for me, they're like the Giants. Like, good defense. Quarterback just has to play really good because there's not much given to him that's easy.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are like the New York Giants.
Holy shit.
Nick, what were you going to ask about, pal?
Dan, is it too late in the season for the Steelers' offense to get right, or do they just stink now?
They stink, huh?
Yeah, I mean, dude, like, here's the thing. You guys know this. You can't do anything on offense if your offensive line isn't good. Their offensive line is not good right now.
Whoa.
And everyone's like, well, they don't run the ball enough. Watch what happens when they run.
They don't get any yards.
They're not a good offensive line right now. They've gotten old real fast. And that's why they're throwing it so much. It was really good early on because they were getting some of the wide receiver run to supplement their run game. They've gotten away from that a little bit. They just don't have any foundation. That means they can't bring anything of value offensively. Still a good team. But they're not making any type of playoff run that's significant with their offensive line.
Lombardi isn't coming to time. Hate to break it to you. Win 11, doesn't matter. What do you got, AJ?
Hey, Dan, you mentioned the Bears. Now, what do they look like next year, like as far as coaching staff, front office, and the team? Like, what about Mitch Trubisky? Is he going to be there? And if not, where would he go?
Thanks, AJ.
Yeah, Mitchell should not be there. I don't think he will. I think they'll blow that place up for the most part. Ryan Pace takes Mitchell Trubisky, and we all know, what else happened in that draft.
Yeah,
okay, well, you took him, so he's your pick, and then you chose the coach to develop him in Matt Nagy. So it was a bad pick, and then it was a bad pick for the coach, and then there's a lack of development. So the general manager swung and missed. I'll credit for him for swinging, but he swung and missed on the pick, and then he certainly swung and missed on the coach. There's just been no development out of Mitchell Trubisky. The same stuff that I would watch 2 years ago that he would do, that I would sit there and be like, if he just fixes this, there's some traits there. Like, if he just fixed his feet, that would be better. Or, if in his drop he was more deliberate, that would be better. If he had more eye discipline, that would be greater. If they used him on the perimeter more, that would be. They don't do that. So, at some point, you got to admit, the coach is failing the player, and the player hasn't gotten himself better. And I think that's where the Bears are right now. And as good as their defense is, and as young as they have some young pieces, I don't think that they can go forward with another year of Mitchell Trubisky and Matt Nagy.
Yeah, it's a circle of suck over there. Whenever you do this and you do this, and it just continues to go south there. Dan, what time's NFL Live? 4 o'clock ESPN?
4 o'clock Eastern, ESPN.
What are you talking about today? Anything?
Yeah, I'll give you the rundown right here, champion.
Hey.
We're gonna talk about the Washington football team and old Jack Del Rio and the Seahawks.
Smart.
I'm gonna put somebody new on the Dan wagon. You know,
Get off the tracks when the Dan wagon's coming through. It'll move swiftly.
Let you guys figure out who that is. I think he's the best player in football that doesn't play quarterback. We're gonna talk about them Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Travis
We're gonna
Kelce.
talk about the Bills as a potential upset against the Denver Broncos.
Are you going to dance on the graves of you predicting Josh Allen?
No. We're just upset alert. Tua. We'll talk about Tua going against New England, and then what the Packers do that no one talks about enough.
Hey, can't wait to hear you and the group. It's a great show every day. We appreciate you for joining us. Tell the kids thanks for stopping by on the show as well.
Later, dudes.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Orlovskis. See you later. Have a good one. Thank you, Dane.
Snow day.
It is snow day. I think every day is snow day. They probably don't go to school. Your kids in school? They go to the bus and everything in Ohio?
Well, they're in school, yeah, because we switched their school. So, yeah, my two oldest go.
So one school said, don't come. You got to teach them at home. And you guys said, okay, cool. Your ends aren't going to school there anymore. And then you found a school that is taking kids. That's what you did?
Absolutely.
Smart.
Hey, remember those friends you had? You don't have those friends anymore. Make new ones.
Hey, those friends are going to be socially awkward because they're not going to get a chance to talk to kids because they're doing class at home all goddamn day. That's not going to be you. You're going to be able to talk circles around those friends in about a year or two. Don't you worry about that. We're going to take you over here. Was it two-hour delay this morning?
No, because of snow, you're saying?
Yeah.
No, we barely. I mean, we got a tiny bit, nothing serious.
Oh, we got like 2-3 inches here, but it was like real snow. Normally, Indiana gets bad snow. It's like not even fun snow. Can't even throw snow or pack snow. It got some real packing snow today. It was thick. Caused some problems on the roads, obviously. But I think the Northeast got like half a foot, T's and P's to everybody. But I thought it was going to be a big 2-hour delay day. But then I remembered no kids are really in school unless your parents took you out of one school and put you in another school.
True.
It's kind of the way it goes nowadays. What do you think about Dane? Why'd you call him that? That was pretty disrespectful right there.
No, it wasn't. I think it's I think it's showing ultimate respect when you call somebody by a different name.
Tristan Talkatara.
Yeah, but we had literally just got done talking about how he didn't want it anymore.
Well, it shows like hey, I got a personal connection with this guy. Like I can't, if somebody I don't know at all and I don't like, I can't go call them some random name.
True. We went after the Colts PR guy earlier pretty heavily. Did you see that conversation? This song stinks. Did you see that conversation with Jonathan Taylor earlier? He might be a 70-year-old man.
What do you mean?
Just so mature.
Wise.
Just so mature, that whole thing. He's going to make all the money. He's only going to get better and better. He was so mature when he was talking to us.
And he's so young. What is he, 22?
21.
Shit.
Pretty
impressive. Guys come out of the womb like ready to play in the NFL, I feel like.
I think you were one person that did that, I would assume.
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor, A.J. Hawk, Aaron Rodgers. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, literally. Mitchell Trubisky.
Yep.
Then it all kind of went wrong for him. I was going to ask if he thinks Mitchell Trubisky plays in the NFL ever again after this season.
Oh, he will.
Or Drew Lock.
You think?
Yeah. He's good.
All right. 30 minutes into this third hour. We'll take some phone calls on the other side and talk about everything else that's going on in the world. This is Pat McAfee Show with A.J. Hawk here Wednesday, December 16th. We have a kid named Evan Fox in this office. This kid was once a videographer for weddings. He shoots no less than 200 basketballs a day. Now he's become full-time producer of Pat McAfee Show. The kid, I think, could potentially play in the NBA. He's been on the sideline of the national championship. Kid's been at the Super Bowl. Is one of the most talented dudes when it comes to interneting. And if Foxy drains an NBA 3 on his first shot, we will add $1,000 into the game.
for $1,000 to win $1,000. You make this $1,000 for $2,000 cash for the listeners.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't nervous. My hands are sweating right now. I had no clue this was happening. I have no warm-ups. This is the biggest shot I've ever had. So I'm a little sore. I've never had a shot worth $1,000. I've never had a shot with this many eyes on me. But hey, I have no excuses.
That
This
wasn't
isn't about
excuse. Knees weak, arms are heavy. Go ahead, Foxy. Kid from Michigan with the beard. Evan Foxy with a fresh fade. Couple dribbles. He gets set. He steps up. He puts it up. Mom spaghetti. He's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. Oh my God! Cut the feed! Rick for the people! His worst shot today. Disgusting, despicable, airball for nothing. Short left brick.
That was the worst shot I've ever seen him shoot in the history of this offense.
Without question.
It was an absolute brick. Have you ever seen a kid shoot that terribly? I left it out. Another miss.
One, I'm a roast Foxy. He was the reason Zito crashed the RV at MetLife. Foxy, you might look good, but you're a jinx, cuz you're like
He's dead. He's dead. Rest in peace, Foxy. Evan Fox is currently 0 for 3, currently shooting 0% in these types of shots. You have missed disgustingly. We're sorry, listeners. We're sorry, followers. We're sorry, subscribers. Evan Fox is just trying to ruin it at all stops. You are 0 for 4 in these types of shots. There's zero chance this ball goes in. He's gone 0 for 5. That was $1,000 shot that didn't even hit rim.
I stink.
In front of the millions and millions of people. He held it up too. That's tough. That's embarrassing. The kid who never misses when the camera isn't on. Evan Fox, who's very handsome and very talented, will attempt to shoot for $2,000 cash for the listeners. We will give away 2 great. Oh, he passes it to himself off the break. He steps up for the win. He steps up for the wing. I am so happy he hangs on the rim in an attempt to break it. We will give away $2,000 because Evan Fox is now 1 for 7. And nothing but splash for the young, handsome Evan Foxy. Wow, what a day. I am so happy for you.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
Do not talk about
Pat McAfee.
One fight at a time, fellas.
The Pat McAfee Show.
That's right.
This goes hard, dude. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show here. Joined alongside AJ Hawk. AJ, Dan Orlovsky, ever going to be a coach in the NFL?
Absolutely. I think 100%.
I think so too. I think he's been laying the foundation for that to happen a little bit. You know, he kind of leaks it out there. I would love to be a GM. Coach would be cool too. I think about it every once in a while. I think last year there was a rumor that he got offered the Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator or quarterback coach job or whatever because how much he put over Carson Wentz. And basically like, the thought was people in the building were like, this guy seems to know Carson Wentz a lot better than our guys. Let's go ahead and try to get him. Louis Riddick's getting 2 GM interviews right now. I'm excited to see how it all plays out. AJ, at some point, we just got to float our names out for those jobs. I think that's how it works, and then you just automatically do it. Louis Riddick, I hope he gets a gig. I want to see, because his name is always brought up, and he's a former player. Anytime a former player gets into a GM role, I like to see them succeed. Hopefully he'll be able to do that. There's an old tweet from him 2018 that is circulating the internet right now that I think is rather hilarious from Louis Riddick. It was his thoughts on things, but I think everybody thought the same way he thought at that time. It was about draft, stash, and pass. And he drafted Josh Rosen.
he stashed Sam Darnold, and he passed Josh Allen.
Oh, okay.
And that is just kind of that's tough. But listen, every GM's going to make mistakes. Louis Riddick wasn't a GM then. He's now learned through more stuff.
Right.
I hope Louis Riddick gets a gig. I hope Orlovsky gets a gig. I hope we continue to build our friends, not that Louis Riddick is, but Dan Orlovsky, into those roles so we can maybe have more interviews with them.
yeah.
It's not easy being a GM, though, AJ. That's just not easy at all.
No, are you kidding me? Like, how tough would it be? Like, let's say you were in the top 5 and there was a couple quarterbacks to choose from, and you have to make that decision. Like, how do you know? Like, there's no exact science on predicting who's going to make it.
Yeah, Ryan Leaf got drafted ahead of Peyton Manning. You know, you have all those incredible stories that are told by people. And obviously, Mitchell Trubisky was drafted ahead of the potential greatest of all time. And whenever he's done Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, everything, like, you have no
Trubisky's
idea.
better than Watson.
But what's that, dude?
Trubisky's better than Watson. Check the numbers.
From one weekend?
Winning percentage, actually.
Ooh. Mitchell Trubisky? Really?
Has a better winning percentage, yes. Just say. That's fine, though.
I did not know that. I had no idea that was
Is
the
it
case.
0.4% better? Yes.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's better, though.
Okay.
It's better.
If he didn't get benched this year for Nick Foles, that thing's probably lower.
No, way higher, probably.
No, yeah, probably. Yeah.
True. We'll never know.
Yeah,
We'll
we'll
never
never know. I wonder if Mitchell Trubisky will ever play again. I did not know that. But anyways, the GMs, I think they take a lot of blame, but I think it's not an easy gig. So it's like, that's why you have to be so careful with which jobs you take. Because if you end up at a place where you don't, like somebody told us, Lombardi told us, was that on Hammer Diner on this show, where he said if he had to make a move, he had to get it okayed by the goddamn owner. So it wasn't as easy as just like, hey, I want this guy, I want to bring in this guy, I want to do that. It's like not all GMs are allowed to do that. There's only some GMs that are allowed to make plays like that. You kind of get handcuffed in some places, and that doesn't get talked about.
He said he couldn't make a 7th-round draft pick without approval from the owner.
By the way, the 7th round is where studs come from.
Oh, yeah. Big round.
AJ and I love this segment. It's our favorite segment every single week. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a recurring segment on this show called Questions from Other Sports Shows.
Welcome to Questions from Other Sports Shows. All right, gentlemen, let's get right into it because we got a bunch of good ones today. First,
whoa! I did not know we do. How much?
Well, so we have 4 questions, and then there is a bonus round at the end if you two, want to test those waters because the bonus round it gets a little frisky.
Okay, all right, let's go.
First and foremost, from Undisputed. More credit for the win on Monday night. Lamar Jackson getting the team in field goal range or Justin Tucker's kick?
See, this is so interesting. Okay, I'll go first. They did this question just so they could shit on Tucker, right? So Tucker was getting a lot of credit. I saw on Twitter, by the way, it said Baltimore Ravens beat Cleveland Browns with Justin Tucker's 55-yard field goal. The headline at the bottom was like Ravens best Browns with Tucker 55-yard field goal. And I was so pumped up because, a bunch of other people had great games. Obviously, Lamar had a great game. Trace McSorley came out there, did his thing. Marquise Brown had a touchdown there late. You got J.K. Dobbins running over Sandaiho right at the goal line. I mean, there was a lot of good things, but I love that Tucker was getting all the love and all the credit. I was like, this is good for kickers. And then I had to realize the next morning, like, Tucker hit a 55-yarder. Now they have to shit on. And basically, this question was set up so that Tucker could get shit on after this. So I don't love that. Now, granted, Shannon Sharp went on an incredibly hilarious rant about kickers, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. And I've always said, hey, if you play in the NFL, you can say whatever the hell you want about kickers and punters. But obviously, this is a team thing. This is a team. The whole team's coming together. That's why you can never pin blame on one person. It's a whole team coming together, AJ. God damn it.
Okay, so let's say Lamar Jackson gets him in field goal range, and he makes that happen, and then Tucker misses the kick. What are we talking about? We're just talking about how Tucker is. He's been clutch his whole life. Oh, has he fallen off the cliff? Do they need to cut him? Has he lost his magic? Has he lost his mojo? He has the yips. So, dumb question. It doesn't really matter. There's no answer.
Tucker lost the game would be, by the way, everything. Justin Tucker lost the game. Now, what if Lamar Jackson only gets him to like a 65-yarder or something like that, and he misses that kick? It would still, I think, be Justin Tucker missed kick, loses game or whatever. But granted, quarterbacks get a lot more hate on a daily basis and a lot more credit than kickers do. I just don't like that this question was set up strictly to kind of pounce on Tucker, it feels like.
Absolutely disgusting. You had to shine a light on it, and hey, let's just be glad that Justin Tucker hit that kick.
Hey, by the way, Justin Tucker probably hit that kick 10 times out of 10.
In his sleep.
Absolute stud. Will Lamar Jackson, after going to the bathroom, come back and lead a team like that? We'll see. If they can, Baltimore's going to be problematic.
And maybe that question comes up later on, Pat.
Really?
We'll have to find out.
Oh,
question number 2. Is Washington football's team's Super Bowl window open next season?
Can I go?
Yeah.
Connor, can you reread the question, please?
Is the Washington football team's Super Bowl window open next season? This comes from Get Up, AJ. Go.
Is that how it is written? Football's team?
It was actually Washington football teams.
Oh, okay. I don't even know the question. Pat, you can go first.
Okay, I respect. I did see him stumble over the question a couple times, and it is his segment. He's not a host all the time. Get off his.
I wrote an S, and then I had to cross it out with a pen, and then it kind of doesn't look like I crossed it out.
That's why I use mechanical pencils. This is a wild question. Who's playing quarterback for him next season? Anybody know?
Huh.
Anybody have a clue who's playing quarterback for the Washington football team next year?
Me.
Until we find out that, I think we can answer. But hey, I'll tell you what. With that defensive line, they'll be able to win games. They'll be able to beat teams they're not supposed to beat because that defensive line eats. Chase Young is an absolute monster. But we don't know a damn thing about the Washington football team next year. We know their name's going to be Washington football team, right, for another year?
Hell yeah.
Is that what they said?
They go to the playoffs after.
If they go, whatever, if they do anything, they're going to have to hang on to that. We know that old Jay Wright's going to be running the show over there as president.
Yep.
Ron Rivera's going to be head coach. I would assume that maybe Del Rio will get another job somewhere potentially. Yeah, we have no idea. This is a bad question.
Is it? I don't know. I mean, is there Super Bowl window open this season?
Yeah, no, that thing's closed like a motherfucker. And also, in Ireland, I don't know if you know this, but in Dublin, they had small little windows on some buildings, okay, because they had to pay Northern Ireland for the amount of window space that you wanted because there was the whole Protestant Catholic little war going on. There was car bombs and things like that. I would say that their window this year is a very small window in Dublin because Northern Ireland was taxing them so much. Not a lot of money to pay for a lot of space. And that window is cement shut, I think, this year. But maybe next year that window starts creeping open. They get maybe they open it a little bit. So maybe
perhaps the window is open, gentlemen. AJ, if you didn't like that question, I know you're going to love this one. It comes from Good Morning Football. What current player would you want to have been college roommates with?
Go ahead, AJ.
I just like hearing how you like your tone when you read the questions. That's why I wanted you to reread the other one.
Well, the last one he barely read the first time, so I'm happy you ran that thing back the second time. What current player?
I'm not. Ever since I graduated middle school, like I didn't enjoy having a roommate, so I don't really know if this is like question is good for me. But if I had to pick one current player to be his roommate, geez. I want to pick somebody that doesn't talk, that isn't messy, and I don't see. So whoever that would be.
Okay. I think.
Josh Rosen?
I'm going with Jack Doyle.
Ooh.
Jack Doyle's that guy. He's probably doing all the lawn work, too.
Nice.
Yeah, he's probably putting up the lights.
Picking everything up.
That's why I'm going with Jack Doyle. Strictly off that reason. Another thing would be to go with, Aaron, because... probably be a pretty cool house.
Yeah, nice house.
It'd be a pretty cool house, and Aaron would be a cool guy, watch shows with at night and have a good conversation, and he's got a lot of money. But then I realized that I'm that roommate that he doesn't want. You know what I mean? Because of what AJ just said, who's quiet and who's tidy and all that stuff. I am not that. So maybe I potentially ruined my friendship with Aaron Rodgers. So I got to pick somebody that has been around me before, knows me a little bit, and is also good to listen. So I'm picking Jack Doyle, tight end of the Indianapolis Colts.
Hell yeah.
That is an interesting qualifier, though, because are you in a college dorm room or are you in AJ's, 850,000 square foot villa?
Well,
because
it's
then, you're not seeing the other person ever.
Yeah, because, I got to use telephone to call, my roommates. I believe Drake and his friends had to do that, had to call and get a drink at his own house. Right. So it depends. Are we at a Michigan house or are we at an Ohio State football house, which is gifted by boosters?
Right.
Or are we in a college dorm? There's a lot of What's that, AJ?
I mean, obviously completely false. You're right there with that one, but I can see I have a feeling, Pat, no matter how large the house is, you could have a 40,000 square foot house. I have a feeling if you had a roommate, you would be following that little guy around the whole time. You would not be able to escape you. I feel like
they would be following me.
In a big house.
AJ, they'd be following me, pal. Okay, just know that. But we would probably be close to each other because I do get lonely. What's the next question, Connor? Yeah, don't leave me alone.
This one comes from Boston Rob in the AM. Does Lamar Jackson cramping up in the fourth quarter give you concerns about his longevity in the playoffs?
What show is that from?
Boston Rob in the AM. It's this other show in New Hampshire.
Boston Rob in the AM.
Yeah, he's absolutely slaying the game up there.
I did not know that was a sports show.
Yeah, put a little respect on his name because, live free or die. They love him up there.
I just Googled it. Nothing popped up.
Oh, is that right?
Well, he's not on Google because they went down the other day. I'm pretty sure they got wiped off there. Unfortunately for BR.
I did check Yahoo. He is on Yahoo, right next to Chuck.
Yeah. Honestly, Bing. He's the first thing that pops up.
Jeeves.
Yeah, boss.
Anyway, it sounds like this is one you just made up.
No.
Yeah, it does feel like this is a people are saying potential thing that we used to do on this show.
No.
Sounds like you are questioning this now. Would you like to answer this question?
I mean, look, hey, if I was on the show, I would, but I'm just here to ask the questions and you guys answer.
Oh, you're kind of past the ball.
I can't. I would. I'd love to answer all these questions for you guys, but I can't.
Yeah, you're LaMelo Ball, huh?
Exactly. Just, no look. See you later.
Yeah, but you made this question up and it's basically a take.
So bonus round is what you're saying? You want to go right to the bonus round then?
What I'm saying is I don't think this cramp has anything to do with his longevity. Is that what you want to talk shit on Lamar Jackson?
I don't want to talk shit on Lamar Jackson at all. I'm concerned about one thing only, and that's beating the Finns on Sunday, okay?
You're not concerned about this segment at all.
I'm not. Well, of course I'm concerned about this segment, but when it comes to football, I'm not concerned about Lamar Jackson's health. Okay. I'm concerned about the Patriots.
That was a weird time to get a cramp in your arm, though, wasn't it? Because he said he got a cramp in his arm.
Yeah, really weird time, right? That's why he did get an IV, though. If you saw, didn't he have the tape over his left arm?
Tape there.
Dr. David Cha. Dr. David Cha. Pro Football Doc.
It was diarrhea, I thought.
No. Zito thinks it's diarrhea. Everybody else said he wanted to talk a shit. That is a weird time to get a cramp in your arm. I do hope he's okay. Me too. And hopefully that isn't a sign of things to come, because I like when the Ravens are playing.
More fiber.
They played against. Fiber makes you poop, actually.
Maybe you got a monkey bubble.
Yeah. What's that, dude? Oh, like a Charlie horse.
Yeah.
This show stinks. What's the next?
Hey, all they need to do, Pat, though, now the Ravens, instead of just taking a leak in that tent, they need to bring one of those little RV toilets where you could just dump it out right there on the sideline.
Hey.
Dump it out.
That's a good idea.
No fans.
That is.
Wow.
What's next?
Pretty genius. So we're in the bonus round now, okay? These are strictly, this is just a fun grab bag, okay? Spotify the other day, they came out with everybody's top songs of 2020. So one of them that came out was also Patrick Mahomes'. So can you guys guess what Patrick Mahomes' favorite song of 2020 was?
Oh, man. There's zero chance of me.
What show is this from?
This is from Good Morning Football. You know what? I know you guys are going to guess it, so I'll just tell you. Patrick Mahomes' favorite song of 2020 was "Kel See You Again" by Wiz Khalifa.
Wiz Khalifa?
Wiz Khalifa, "Kel See You Again."
Oh, they threw in okay.
Hey, they also released Aaron Rodgers' top song of 2020, if you guys would also like to hear that one.
No way they said this on TV. You're making this all up.
I swear to God, I don't make anything that's on this sheet up aside from stuff that comes from Boston Rob in the AM.
So did he say Wiz? They said Wiz Khalifa? I'll see you again?
There was
Not
four.
my words.
They gave the top four of each of these quarterbacks.
These are just my favorites.
Okay, what's another one?
Aaron Rodgers' top song of 2020. "Baby Got Back Tiari" by Sir Six-a-Lot. AJ?
It's not real. That's not real.
I swear to God.
We have photos of it.
Very creative.
I saw
"Baby Got Back Tiari." I mean, if you think about it, it could be next level good music.
Oh, who's pitching that? Is that somebody? I guess that's a really good. You got to have a good brain to think of this stuff.
Hey, I got a question, Pat. Quick. So, Connor, what are these stations, what are these shows going to do in the offseason if this is what they're coming up with?
Run it back. Run it back. Because this does feel like a lot of off-season chatter here. Like, you know what I mean? I think I saw Brady Gaga on the screen at one point.
Oh, I didn't see his top songs. What was his number one?
Brady Gaga, I believe. I believe it was Brady Gaga song.
Godwin's playing.
Well, no, there would be. Oh, not a bad. Hey, anything else? You got any other ones?
I was trying to think of who it was by, but I couldn't go. Maybe Dr. Arians or something like that. Drarians, I don't know.
I can't believe they do that. I'm thankful we don't. Their shows are better than ours. We agree with that. Boy, we do not have the minds to think of things like that. And I'm thankful for that because that person is tough to be around on a daily basis. Pick that person as a person I don't want to be roommates with, whoever thinks of those questions.
Jot it down.
But I do respect their brain for being able to do so. So that's another questions from another sports show. Woo! I think there's no way people write that question and be like, yeah, this is good.
This is
So I believe it was presented by Danimals. So it's a recurring segment. They do it quite a bit. So maybe they were the ones who were like, hey, baby got Bakhtiari. Throw it in there.
Let's go to Curtis in Georgia. What's going on, Curtis? Jesus Christ.
All right, how you doing?
I'm mind blown right now, to be honest with you, because the questions from other sports show turned into a segment from other sports show, which and then they kind of quickly adjusted.
You got to fix it.
And did not know that.
Sometimes the segments are just so good you have to.
But Curtis, what do you want to talk about, pal?
I just wanted to let y'all know that I work in the bakery that makes the Arby's buns.
What? I'll tell you what, you do a good job,
Say
pal. That
you.
toasted
Thank you.
star
Are you
bun.
in heaven?
Oh, what are you guys putting there? You guys going to put crack cocaine in there because of how addicted they are.
What's his name?
I mean, it's a little secret, but yeah.
Curtis down there in
Thank
Georgia.
you, Curtis.
Thank you, Curtis. Let's go to Zach in Springfield. What's going on, Zach? This just stinks, dude.
It's in the chat. If it works, let me know. If it doesn't, I don't know what to tell you.
Huh?
It's in the chat, dude.
It's in the chat.
What's in the chat?
You know what's in there, dude.
Just Tony, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
It's in the fucking chat, dude.
I'm not seeing anything.
This just stinks,
Just
dude.
Wiz Khalifa.
Let's go to Logan. Did they really call him Wiz Khalifa?
Wiz Khalifa.
Because the Chiefs, obviously.
Yeah. Oh,
And he loves the Chief.
But they don't even. What they did. They made a great weed reference there too, though. I wonder if any of them knew. I assume that. I assume what happens because we're big fans of the show. I assume they get presented with these ideas, and some of them like, all right, who's saying this today? Shrakes, you got it, dude. Wiz Khalifa. We watch that show every morning. Logan, what's going on?
What's up, Pat, AJ, boys? My dad and I listen to y'all every day. Appreciate providing consistent laughs this year and always.
You and your dad, this show stinks. It's only getting worse and worse as this goes on. So what do you want to talk about, brother?
No, it's just while we take our daily vitamins. But we just want to talk about
Show's
our young Panthers defense against our boy A-Rod, possibly Defensive Rookie of the Year, Jeremy Chin.
Aaron Rodgers going against the Carolina Panthers. Phil Snow stack. I think they run a 3-3-5 defense. Excited to see what Aaron does against that. Excited for Jeremy Chin to potentially get a chance to play against Aaron Rodgers. By the way, he's had a hell of a rookie season. Friend of the show. Great on the show. I think Aaron in that offense feel very comfortable against anybody right now, AJ. I believe that's the case.
Yeah, I would say they want to just keep it rolling like they have. Phil Snow also, Pat, he was the D coordinator for the Baylor game that we worked together. So, yeah, they've had success, I guess, at times. But, man, no. I mean, look at what the Packers are doing. If you're the Panthers, you just hope something happens, like it's an off day for their offense.
And you know what? It would be mind-blowing if it was, by the way. And Christian McCaffrey, I guess, was in cleats today, but everybody's assuming he's not going to play, but I guess there's a chance he is going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Big-time game for the Packers. They got to continue to win. Got to continue to win right now for seeding and everything like that. Feels like Aaron Rodgers is in a zone now. Yesterday he said a lot of controversial things on the show.
Yeah.
A lot of controversial things. Did you hear what he said about college?
Oh, jeez.
Let's go to Alex in Philadelphia. What's going on, Alex?
Yo, Pat and the boys, and AJ, you absolute specimen.
10-4, good start. What do you want to talk about, brother?
Hey, gotta throw this in. Philly doesn't want James Harden. We don't need the Trump Lord. But back to football. EAGLES, Eagles. Fuck Cowboys. Nick Foles' dick's bigger than Jerry's yacht.
Hell yeah.
Super Bowl bound. What? Just beat the best team in the NFC. If we had the coaching and Jalen, who don't forget squats 585 the week before, we would have wrecked your man A-Rod, made him look like Ty's version of Drew Brees. We got the best D-line in the NFL, and the league better watch out for the ultimate underdog. Also, Pat, you never talk about my favorite player on the Birds, Cameron Johnson, who just loves to fucking destroy balls.
Alex should be working for the Eagles. Yeah. Like, there's a guy that should be hired for the Eagles right there, doing PR, doing whatever he can.
I'll make him the OC.
Making the rounds.
I don't think I've ever heard somebody from Philly that positive about the Eagles, especially right now. Good for that guy. I'm a big fan of that guy. Called you a specimen of a man, too. You got to appreciate that, AJ.
Yeah, he was good. Maybe the Eagles should let him run their Twitter account.
Good idea.
That's a good idea.
Give him a week.
And just kind of let him go ahead and go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Don't give any restrictions on that. Just go ahead and let that thing eat. It could be good for you. They're going to have to make a lot of decisions over there. If Jalen wins too, if Jalen wins again, they're going to have to make some real decisions over there. Let's go to, there's no way I'm supposed to be able to pronounce this. In Ohio, what's going on, dude? What's your name?
My name is Socket. It's kind of a tough name, but you can just call me S, I guess. Okay. So,
Socket.
I got two
It's
questions. One about college football and one of NFL.
Call him Sack. Like, wedding crash.
Yep. Okay, so about college football. Ohio State's only played 5 games, but they're clearly a really good team. But Texas A&M and Cincinnati played 8. So Who do you think really deserves to be in?
Oh, great question, S. Cincinnati deserves to be in. Ohio State, they shouldn't be allowed back on a football field again. No, what do you think? What do you think, S?
Well, it's got to be Ohio State. Like, okay, let's think about it. Ohio State plays Cincinnati. We're betting on how much Ohio State beats them by.
Oh, is that what you think we're talking?
Come on now.
You don't think there's upset cities?
Upset.
Absolutely not.
Oh,
come on, S.
We don't have a lot of time. I would love to talk to you a little bit longer. But yeah, Ohio State beats shit out of them. I know that. Alabama will too. Okay, I'm just talking about I don't know how they drop down instead of move up. We just want a little bit of respect for Cincinnati. Let's have a little bit of respect for the boys over there in the state of Cincinnati. They're absolutely balling. This show's about over, thank God. AJ, anything to say to the serious folks before we get out of here?
Well, first, you said you wanted Cincinnati at number 5. Who cares? It doesn't matter. If you're not in the top 4, who cares? Like, does that make you feel better about the having respect?
Yeah, because they dropped them down. I'd rather have them move up.
We want to
at least tease them a little bit.
If you're out of the top 4, it doesn't matter, though.
Yeah, but what if they next week they decide to go to 8?
Show's about over. Okay, everybody, thanks. Shout out to the serious people.
Shut up.
Chris Mad Dog Russo will be better next. Okay, we'll be back tomorrow. Mad Dog Unleashed is on the other side. He got about 6 minutes. A lot of time to do stuff. A lot of time. This show stinks. Some of these days where there's just nothing to talk about, it's hard to get going.
I think we had a good show.
You think?
It was a good
I
show.
think so.
It was a good show.
I don't know. There's a couple things that we did today where I think I'm gonna be rather embarrassed by about 5-10 years from now. Guppy, what's going on, dude?
When you're on your island?
First place team in the college playoff not kick the shit out of the fourth place team anyway.
Oh, you're talking about Dane Orlovsky's thing.
It happens every year.
Sorry, not calling him that anymore.
Well, if the Hawks are in there, that's the only way to break this trend. I'm afraid, and it's just not going to happen. So, just move past it.
The Hawkeyes?
Yeah. Get Kirk and the boys. Let them in. Let the boys play.
Stand a chance.
Maybe if that basketball team and that wrestling team was on the football team, people would take it serious.
Maybe.
But instead, what are you guys? You're like 4-7 or something like that, but you're hot right now?
They've won 6 in a row, brother. What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry about that. Hey, Ohio State, you even as an Ohio State person, AJ, you know that like the rules are going to get bent for you guys, right? Like you just know that?
Yes, because of the success they have had since they've started the playoff.
Agreed, by the way. Not saying that it's not warranted. It's Ohio State. But you guys knew going into the year with all their bullshit rules the Big Ten made that you all, like Ohio State people look in the mirror and they go, Big Ten will change rules if it affects us. We know that. Like you guys knew that the entire time, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, and I'm not claiming it's fair. Like when people say, oh, well, is that fair? Well, absolutely not. Like nothing's fair. Like what is fair?
Life is not fair.
Nuh-uh.
If you're a team that wins all the time, your budget is 10 times everybody else, basically. You kind of put the conference on your back for a while. Be who you can afford to be. People are going to be treated as they probably have earned to be treated. Mm-hmm. But I like to hear, though, that you guys are self-aware enough to know that people are going to bend the rules for you guys. You know what I mean? Because if you guys came out and were like, no, we didn't think they would do that for anybody, then it's like you guys are even more oblivious to the whole thing. We all knew it. I'm happy you guys know it as well.
I mean, I guess, yeah. But all that we're trying to do, like anyone who has any part of this college football playoff, like they want to get the best 4 teams in the playoff. So can you sit there and argue that Ohio State deserves to be outside of the top 4?
No, I don't think so. I'm just saying that this is the year that they should just make it 16 teams.
Let's do it.
Let's make it 16 teams.
Make them all.
You think Ohio State is in the finals if there's 16 teams? You think they can make it, survive? You think they can battle COVID long enough?
Ooh. Yeah, hopefully. I mean, they need those games. They're going to get better throughout the playoffs if they had 16. They'd be better when they got to the finals.
I forgot about that because their first game, there were some teams that had already been 6-7 games in or whatever, and everybody's like judging Ohio State against their team. It's like, this is literally their first time putting it on the field together. And it's like, well, other seasons were almost over. It's like, well, that's because the Big Ten fucked it up. That's exactly where we're at right now. All right. AJ, I think Cincinnati would win the college football playoff if they were allowed in there. Teams like you, Ohio State's scared of them.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Woo!
I have nothing bad to say about Cincinnati. You know that.
I do love that team, too. You think Fickle will stick around there long enough for them to get a chance ever?
I do, yeah. He's already turned down multiple jobs. I don't know what job would get him out of there, but there's probably 1 or 2 teams. I don't know who they are, though.
Doesn't this frustrate him, though, to get out?
you kind of force guys to move on, you know? Like Fickle is like, what more could we have done here? He turned down a job for Michigan State, I think. Yeah. West Virginia, I believe he turned down. Whoa. He turned down some other places. That's Big 10 and obviously Big 12 there. Could have been cool.
What about Michigan, AJ? Could Michigan grab him?
I would imagine they would come after him. I do not think he would take that gig.
Really?
Fucking, he doesn't use M's at his house.
No.
He puts X's for M's at his house still. He was. How long was he at Ohio State? Forever.
Long time. Yeah, I mean at least 10, 12, 15 years.
Jeez. If you got offered a Michigan head coaching gig, would you take it?
Nah, I don't think so.
If you were offered the Ohio State head coaching gig, would you take it?
I'd have to think about it for sure. Whoa. If I could set my hours and be like, hey, guys, we're not going to be here 17 hours a day. Coaches, you're not either. So we're going to get our work done, and I'm going home too.
And listen, recruiting-wise, if they want to come, they can fucking come. We're not bowing down to any 17-year-old anywhere. Okay? That's the interesting. Today is some National Signing Day. I don't know. We don't know which one it is. It's an early one, I guess. It's all over ESPN. We had no idea it was existing until this morning. And we're a big sports show, obviously. Should have probably known that type of stuff. But the thought of all these coaches. Did you see what the fucking Mad Hatter guy? What was his name? Les Miles. The picture he posted on his Twitter last night. There's no way I would be able to do that. But you got to be able to connect with 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds to get them into your facility and your program. That's kind of how your whole thing survives. It'd be tough for me to really care about what a 17-year-old thinks. Like, listen, I want you to be great, okay? But I'm not texting you 15 times a day to tell you how much I like you. I don't even like my fucking family enough to do that. I'm not doing it to you.
Especially when you're coaching football at Kansas and you've been at LSU and other places like that.
Do you have that tweet from Les Miles? I sent it into the group. You guys can go ahead and scan through it. It is as soon as I saw it, I was like, you've got to be fucking shitting me with this. He's wearing it's supposed to be Run DMC, I think. He said Run 21, and he's got these glasses on. I'm like, all right, so you got to humiliate yourself to be a like.
What you have to if you want to keep your gig. That's the thing. Like, there's videos of Nick Saban dancing in guys' living room. Nick Saban does that, which is the ultimate, like, no nonsense, like not going to bow down to people.
And when Harbaugh did a sleepover.
Sleepovers, yeah.
That's going to be tough for me to give a fuck enough. No, I appreciate the people that do it, but I think college coaching is a gig that I would never in a million years want, ever. That would be very, very difficult for me. And that's because I'm too selfish. You know what I mean? I value my time more than sending a text to a 15-year-old who's potential class of 2023 to keep his eyes peeled for what we got cooking in Butthole State or whatever.
You could do all that mumbo jumbo, or you could just cheat. Just give a guy $200,000, be like, hey, we'll get you. I ain't gonna be fucking texting you all day, but there's duffel bags gonna be showing up.
Well, how do they cheat the system, AJ? What do you look at this? Zoom in a little bit, please, if we can. I don't know if we can.
Damn, I'm going to Kansas.
Look at that, dude.
That's sick.
I mean, I guess it's not as bad as I thought, honestly.
What?
I think I'm sure he and the people that took this picture think he looks cool.
He just had corrective eye surgery. It's fine.
Oh, that's LASIK?
Yeah.
Okay, that's why they have the
dark room.
Man, I don't know, dude. It's Brady Gaga stuff there.
Those aren't their colors either. Shouldn't it be Kansas?
AJ, why don't you do college coaching for 1 year?
Why?
Because I would just like to see you have to experience that. I had a friend who was a college coach for a little bit, and he was just like, I can't do it. You got to be so I respect and appreciate the people that do it, but god damn, it seems like a terrible job.
I have a lot of friends that are in coaching, and some of them I've lost them because they're off the radar. Like, they can't ever, we never see them anymore.
Texting with teenagers that entire time.
Mm-hmm. Busy.
Just busy doing
checking out SoundCloud.
All right, let's get out of here, huh? I think it's time for us to leave, isn't it?
You want to hear the other songs on Pat Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers' lists, or?
AJ, does Ohio State cover 4.5 tonight against Purdue college basketball?
AJ doesn't fucking know.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Are you hammering that?
Hammer it. I hear Ohio State's good this year, aren't they, Gump?
Yeah, they are very good. Very good spread.
Yeah, but dude, the Longhorn Racers are fucking unbelievable. Did they cover again last night?
Listen to this. Game ended on an 8-0 run for them not to cover.
Oh, no. I told you that the board Racers
crushing blow for the Lancers.
Lancers, that's what it was.
Zito, I got a quick question. I know you're going to the poll. I know we're getting out of here, but What is the deal with James Harden? Is he fat? Is he not fat? Is he trying to get off the team? Like, is he going to be there? What's happening?
You know, the interesting thing about James Harden is it seems like he does not care. And now the team is starting to release information about him throughout his time there that I think they're trying to paint him in a different light because, you know, he says he wants out of Houston. He wants out of Houston. This ain't going to work. John Wall coming isn't changing my mind. I'm out of here, but I'll show up to work. They're like, he hung out in Vegas all off season. He said he was there training. They said that anytime there's a couple off days, James is going to fly somewhere and partying and coming back with a 50-point triple-double, so it's okay with that. Since 2012, he has okayed every single decision that they've made, basically. So the Houston Rockets, I think, are trying to stick up for themselves with stories about James Harden, but I think everything that comes out, everybody's like, this dude's awesome. And then him showing up at like 250, 300 pounds last night was just another move in the James Harden saga because the guy will be good if, a week and a half, he'll probably be in shape if I had to guess. Probably have a haircut and he'll be off and running. But it seems like he does not give a single fuck about the Houston Rockets at this point.
He just finished his first press conference, actually.
How'd it go? Anything notable come out of it?
There's a bunch of clips. I haven't watched any of them yet.
Good news. We'll keep that updated as we go on. Did you hate him or did you like what he did here?
I mean, I haven't paid much attention to it. I'm fine. I know he's a stud and he can score from everywhere, but I'm wondering, is he trying to do this to where because he likes to go out and have fun on a couple off days, he's trying to opt out this season and still get paid? Is that what is he setting something up?
I don't know. I hope so. I mean, I'm excited to hear how it all plays out. Their teams are always good because he's incredible at basketball, but they run into a team and then it's over. They run into like an actual team of basketball players and it's over. You know, good, sound, fundamental basketball wins in the game.
Yeah.
You smack the wood when you're playing defense. Okay. You run the motion. All right. You communicate. You pass the ball. That wins you good basketball games in the end whenever you need to win a series.
Sounds like Phil Jackson.
Yep, goddamn right. We run that triangle and we meditate, we manifest things, and I'm not sure they've been doing that down there in Houston for a long time, and James wants out. But the thing about James Harden is he says he's willing to, Connor says that James Harden said this. I don't know if that's true or not. He's willing to change his style of basketball to go play somewhere else because he just wants to win or something.
Yeah, that's what Steph Curry said to the Bucks head coach at USA practice in 2019.
Steph Curry said that to the Bucks head coach about James Harden.
He was like, me and James were talking. James says like he knows he can play, you know, the I forget the word for it, bully ball or whatever, where it's just, you know, one guy dribbling a ton and going to score. But James wants to change the scenery. He wants to play a little team basketball.
So Steph Curry said that to the Bucks head coach at Team USA practice in 2019.
Nail on the head.
And now we're tying that all together with this James Harden right now.
Well, there it is.
That's
case closed.
This show stinks.
See you there.
Detroit Lions center got his throat broken. Don't even know what that means. In the first quarter of last week's game, played the rest of the game. He is questionable this weekend, I guess. They're not 100% sure whether he's going to play. Not sure how you break your throat, but this is one of the most badass stories I've heard out of football in a long time. The guy didn't have a goddamn throat going on. Had nothing to say or do at the center position. Played the rest of the game. Now they're wondering if he's going to miss his first start, I think, in a long time. He has the most plays out of anybody in the NFL right now. The guy is just an absolute warrior, savage, badass human, and now he's got a broken fucking throat.
There's 2 bones in your throat, by the way. Just looked it up.
Yeah, he broke them both, I think.
Damn.
Listen, that's why you can't throat punch somebody. You know what's going to happen there, AJ?
If he's questionable, I'd say it's safe to bet that he will be playing this weekend.
I would assume so, yeah, because if he hasn't been ruled out officially by doctors, let's assume the guy that finished the game with a broken frickin' throat is probably going to play again the week later, if I had to.
Yeah,
guess.
but Stafford's not back there. He doesn't want to play. He's not. He doesn't want to stand in front of Chase Daniels. He's there for Stafford.
This guy doesn't give a damn who's playing quarterback back there. That guy just loves playing football and likes that he's getting a paycheck to do it. Guy had a broken throat. That, by the way, I think warranted walking off the field. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like, Mike, what's going on? Helmet, something. I don't know. And then they X-ray it and they're like, "Well, turns out you broke your throat actually," which. We've never seen this before. And he's like, "Yeah, fuck it. I can still snap the ball, get in some people's way."
Think about it, Pat. Or maybe he was trying to tell them he needs to come out of the game, but he couldn't speak. Therefore, they just kept pushing him out.
Well, you use your words.
Hey, probably a good roommate.
That's good.
Oh, there you go.
Guy with a broken throat. By the way, if anybody comes, he's protecting this house. That guy. Good for him. What's his name? Do we know his name?
Frank Ragnow from Arkansas.
Ragnow?
Yeah.
So it's a Viking.
He's pretty good, too.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, it's breaking with
He's pretty good. Evan
Foxy.
Fox says. He's pretty good. Evan Fox.
Yeah.
Put it on his tombstone.
Big Pro Bowl push, I guess.
Oh, right now it is?
Not by you.
I don't know anything about offensive linemen, but I do see that Pro Bowl push, and I like that.
First round pick 2 years ago.
Yep.
Oh, and he first round pick, and he's still playing with a broken throat. Good for this guy. Didn't get too comfortable. Didn't get too paid. Where did he play college?
Arkansas.
Oh yeah, Woo Pig
Suey.
Suey. AJ, you ever have a broken freaking throat, dude?
I didn't know that was even a possibility.
I mean, Ragnar probably didn't know either. He's like, there's something going on. What? Can't move. He fucking rolls. He fucking rolls in on Monday. You're gonna have to resize your helmet. You know what I mean? This thing was awesome, by the way. It served quite a purpose.
Oh, yeah. Still is.
We didn't even think.
It
Maybe
protected your spine for a day.
Well, it might have broke my throat too. I didn't even
Could've.
know. We didn't check that out. I wonder if they scanned for that. That's gonna have to be a new thing.
To go back.
AJ, we'll see you tomorrow, buddy.
All right, get another scan, and we'll get the results back 13 days later, and we can let you know.
Oh, come on.
It must be nice to look down upon everybody.
Yeah. From your ivory tower.
You know, where you live at, just looking down.
I love how you took it. I love when I questioned your T1, T2 diagnosis, where you took it and instantly tried to say that I was trying to be like an elitist.
It was such good. There's nothing you could do. There's no defense that you can have there. I mean, you could be like, yeah, well, I do have the finest of doctors who turn around scans in the quickest of time. You could have done that, but you would have looked terrible. So it was kind of like it was kind of close to Sicilian checkmate. It was kind of. I felt pretty good about it. And by the way, I did tell the doctor, too, that A.J. Hawk would have expected a much quicker turnaround, and they said we're in the middle of a worldwide pandemic. So,
deal with it.
How do you feel about that, A.J.?
And it continues.
Well, a lot of people have died.
Well, you're lucky you have – this is the problem, though. You're using the pandemic as a crutch to further your argument here.
No, it's not a crutch. It's a fact, okay? You don't believe in the pandemic? You don't believe?
What are you saying?
I don't believe it affected the fake tests you got on your fake results.
They weren't fake tests. They were very real tests. No, are you saying other tests are fake tests?
Well,
no. What do you
Well,
mean?
it sure sounded like you're questioning the validity of a lot of tests at this point. Now, if you're questioning my T1, T2 full body scan test, what other tests are you testing and saying that aren't real in the middle of this worldwide pandemic? AJ, do you have something to say? You want to get it all out?
yeah, what's your thoughts on vaccines?
I'm absolutely not saying that, but
Sure
on a
sounds like
serious
it.
note,
Wow.
I saw that the FDA, I think, approved like at-home tests. Are those coming out? That'd be great.
Well,
Funny you ask.
What? I can't get in. I just took one. I just took an at-home test down here earlier today. I'm not diabetic. You have to prick yourself. You know, you have to get a little blood drop into the thing that we got or whatever. And turns out I had to prick me 3 times. I couldn't get any blood out of my goddamn fingers. I think I'm dead. So I got 2 ring fingers and a pointer finger all pricked, and I couldn't get enough blood to get the goddamn thing in there. I think I'm potentially diabetic because I couldn't get any blood circulation. But yeah, we took one of those.
Dude, why are you headed to? Are you wrestling again tonight? No.
Tonight is NXT, isn't it?
Only one way to find out.
Forgot about that. Oh, didn't I? There's also some other things potentially on the horizon.
I don't know what those other things would be.
Well,
keep your eyes peeled.
If you would ask a good question there, like good journalists, maybe we would have got an answer.
Yeah, maybe.
It's a bummer.
Turns out, nothing from you, pal. You ever seen these shoes in the wild, dude? Tim Allen wore them in a Santa Claus. They're awesome.
Hell yeah.
These shoes are.
I have them. I have those.
They are awesome. I've had these for like 5 years. Chuck came in and chewed them down, but they're go-to as soon as snow falls, dude. Gotta fucking go for it. You know what I mean?
Get your leg out of here.
What are you talking about, dude?
Unreal.
Thank you. You see that calf kicking right there?
Yeah, man. It's impressive.
It's an involuntary spasm, dude. Look at the show. Enjoy the show. You know what I mean?
I guess we do know. I know if I'm not around you, but if I was in person, like if you're eating carbs, then you're probably not wrestling. If you're on your whole keto deal, then maybe you are.
Oh, don't be giving away our tells, dude.
Jeez.
Come on.
I did have pizza today. It was showed up 4 minutes before the show started. Had to house that. It was unbelievable.
So good.
Did not know the place that we got pizza from had that good of pizza. Could be a tough couple weeks here for the guts.
Yeah.
January 1, we're starting the DeMarcus Ware Driven to Win app
Hell
thing.
yeah.
We're doing that January 1 in this office, AJ.
Yeah. Everybody?
Oh, yeah.
D2 dub.
I'll be excited to see who lasts the longest in the thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, I will.
Yeah.
What's so funny, AJ?
AJ. Nothing. I was just picturing Zeke getting just
yoked.
Yeah, I think you're gonna get jacked, Zeke.
Thanks.
Zito's weight fluctuation is always awesome to watch.
Oh yeah.
We did a weight loss challenge where he lost 39.
The first one was 39. Yeah.
39 pounds in 1 month. Okay, and it was a different Zito, obviously, both visually and
Snazzy.
the way he was acting.
Yeah.
It was very different. But then he put it back on. Then and I have the same issues as well. If I didn't have to crash diet for things, I think that is the biggest. I have to crash diet for things, and it kind of keeps me, in between that thing. I'm going to be 354 bills, I think, whenever this all slows down. Whenever I'm out there on my own island, there's nothing going on. If there's no reason for me to crash diet, it's hard for me to slow down. I just love eating. I love food.
It's so good.
It is so good. There's people that hate food out there. I don't know how they do it.
Well, you don't have to crash diet. You could just, your lifestyle could be one to where you're always ready.
That's what I hear. I hear about
It's
it.
like you gotta eat vegetables.
No.
Talk to Paul Wahlberg. He'll help you out.
Oh,
that's the schedule that I expect Zito to be on, by the way. I
do
want
it.
9 holes done by 4 a.m. every single day.
Don't care how cold it is.
We'll be back tomorrow. Who's the guest tomorrow? The good ones.
Oh, my God.
Big time.
Huge.
Big
Huge. No, by the way, nobody knows who the guests are.
No.
That immediate response, huge, is just another reason why this show stinks. AJ, have a good one. We'll see you guys tomorrow. That's the show.
Yeah.